What is up, everyone? Welcome back to some more Higurashi. In the previous recording session, we kicked off Chapter 7, and I've loved the setup thus far. So far, things have started to play out a bit differently than they have in the past. According to Rika's perspective, this is the best start she's ever had to one of her times through the loop. You know, Keiichi gave the doll to Mion. Shion doesn't harbor any grudges against Satoko. In fact, she's, going out of her way to look after her, it seems. Reina is actually talking with her friends about her problems, and she already came to a solution about her father and his relationship with Rina. Pretty much all the big major moments that have caused potential shifts in previous chapters have been avoided leading up to the festival. And Rika comes to the conclusion that the only way she can potentially save herself is if she does go out of her way to save Takano and Tomitake. If she can prevent their deaths, then she can actually prevent hers in turn. And that's immediately where we find ourselves now. She has gone to Irie's clinic, I guess in the hopes of speaking to Takano and trying to save her. So without further ado, let's just jump back into it, shall we? I forgot to click into the game.
高野とお話ししたいことがありますのです。今日はいますですか？
いえ、多分リサさんとデートじゃないでしょうか。
Risa?
いやいや、お羨ましい。
Who the hell's Risa?
どうしてリサなのですか？
Okay, if you're referring to Tomitake, yeah, why?
よくわからない名前なのです。
それは本人に聞いてみてください。初対面の時のちょっとした認識ミスなんですがね、その時の先方の対応がとても面白かったもので。
I don't get it. That's what nicknames are all about, though. True.
どんなご用件ですか？伝言でよければ今夜ミーティングがありますから。
ありがとうなのでも直接言いますのでいいのですよ。
そうですか。わかりました。では私は書類事務に戻ります。
今日は入江は診察はしていないですか？
今夜のミーティングの資料作りで普段から準備はしているんですがね、なんて言うと準備がなってないと怒られてしまいますね。
それに加えて野球までやっているのですから、つくづく入江は元気だなと思いますです。
本当に忙しいですよ。家事や秘書を代行してくれる可愛いメイドさんを常時募集中なのですが、なかなか応募がありません。
He laughed and looked at his watch. He seemed to be in a hurry.
高野たちはどこへ行っているか。
村の中をいろいろと回るだろう。ああ、でもいつも待ち合わせは高野さんは半ドンで帰られましたから、ひょっとするとまだ境内にいるかもしれませんね。
I looked at the clock on the wall. I must have just missed her. This was no time to be chatting with
あ
Irie.
りがとうなのですよ。神社に戻ってみますです。
年に4度しかない仰せなんですから、あまり邪魔をしない方がいいと思いますよ。
He smiled mischievously and waved his hand in goodbye. I headed back to the shrine. I was going to park my bike by the stairs that led to the shrine grounds. Satoko and I are the only people who park our bikes there normally, but I saw more than 10 bikes there today. 10? People must be gathering at the convention room. There are more and more meetings when the Watanagashi festival draws closer. Seeing all these bikes reminded me that summer is nearly here. Most of the bikes were old and beat up. However, I saw two unfamiliar ones parked there. They were sporty mountain bikes with the same design but different colors. They must belong to Takano and Tomitake. I went up to the stairs to look for the two of them, but I couldn't find either. Was there any place with a great view for taking pictures? I tried looking in places like that, but I still couldn't find them. So I started looking based on what Takano might be interested in. I can only think of one place.
どう？二郎さん。
うん、シンプルなタイプだと思うよ。道具があれば多分1分とかからないよ。
さすがね。二郎さんが得意なのは心の奥の錠前外しだけじゃないのね。
たたりじゃー。
The two of them jumped in surprise as I suddenly appeared in front of them.
あら、リカちゃん、急に脅かすなんて人が悪いわね。
開かずの西宮殿の鍵を開けちゃおうとする人の方がもっと悪いのです。
あダメだよ、高野さん。やっぱり悪いことはするもんじゃないよ。
Yeah, we could never do something like that. Tomitake conceded right away, but Takano was stubborn. She made up excuses to try and fool me. Based on my previous lives, I knew just how much interest she had in this storehouse. It was actually rather impressive how hard she tried to cover that up. The ritual storehouse is full of the remainder of the dark history of Onagahuchi. It contains bloody and vicious tools that Takano is fascinated with. She should have a good idea as to what those things are inside of the storehouse, based on what she has been researching. She was making up some story about cultural treasures and such, but it was obvious that she was just making excuses. Tomitake also seemed impressed listening to Takano's phony justifications. In the past, I've tried to conceal what was inside of the storehouse from Takano, because I don't want her spreading information about the holy and brutal traditions they used to have in Onagahuchi village. It would be a disgrace. As a member of the Furure family, I can't let that happen. Looking at the history of Onagahuchi in the way Takano does is a painful thing for Hanyu as well. For Hanyu, the ritual storehouse is a special place. I don't know what's so nice about being surrounded by those scary ritual tools, but she feels cozy when she's surrounded by the smell of old times. This storage is like Hanyu's hideout. Oh, is that why she gets all pissy? That's why Shion hears her stomping around in there? When I can't see her, she's usually relaxing in here. I don't want Hanyu's happy place to be turned into the bloody, horrifying den of evil Takano believes it to be. That's why I've been keeping Takano away from the ritual storehouse. Come to think of it, why am I so mean to her? Is it because I hate her? I should stop feeling that way. I have to keep in close contact with Takano and Tomitake. I won't give up just because it didn't work before. I'm going to try one more time. This world is different from the other ones. I might be able to change their fate, which in turn might change my own.
羽生、高野に西宮殿の中。
Hanyu made an irritated face. Takano will lose herself in ecstasy if she sees what's inside of there. She'll run around spreading rumors of the bloody history of Onagahuchi. Hanyu wasn't too excited about that prospect.
高野にごまをするわ。でも話を聞いてもらうきっかけにはなるんじゃないか。高野は根に持つから。ここで意地悪をすると私の話をちゃんと聞いてくれないかも。
I understand that Hanyu doesn't want her inside this holy place, but she can't do anything more than be irritated about it. I'm the only one who can make the ultimate decision. Besides, she'll forgive me if I promise to eat something sweet later.
高野、もしも約束を守ってくれるのでしたら。
本当に西宮殿の中よ。中は中でも防災倉庫の中とかはなしよ。
本当ですよ。ちゃんと西宮殿の中なのですよ。
西宮殿ってここよ。この建物の中なのよ。
You mean this one? Right here. This one right here, in front of us. This building.
別にごまかす気はありませんですよ。ちゃんとこの中に入れてみぱー。にぱー。
The little fucking emoticon too. I had never seen such a big smile on her face before. Now this is a miracle. I'm seeing this face for the first time in 100 years. Tomitake must be feeling the same way. His image of Takano was slowly falling apart as we spoke, I'm sure. No, maybe we just found a new side of her to love instead.
高野って結構面白い人だったのでびっくりなのです。やっぱりコミュニケーションって大事ね。人を知るのってつくづく難しいと思い知るわ。
We remained there and watched Takano spinning in delight for a while.
中には内緒で入れるのですから。
ああ、そうだよね。高野さんを正気にも。
僕はその間に鍵を持ってきますです。
By the time I came back with the key, Takano was totally calm again. She was obviously trying to hide how gleeful she was, though. I thought she was a mature lady, but she might still be a kid at heart. I think they call that something like gap moe. Hell yeah. I picked that term up at some point from Keiichi, but I'm still not sure how it's used.
では高野、富武、中に入る前にちゃんと誓ってくれないとダメなのです。
もちろん開かずの西宮殿をフルで約束は守る。
ダメだよ、高野さん。
失礼ね。
僕の中の高野のイメージが今大変なことになっていますのです。私もよ。高野の株価が 世界恐慌で大暴落って感じ。
Reina said it before. It's not a good idea to think about problems all on your own. I always hated the crazy part of Takano and didn't want to be close to her. I never thought she could act this way. She was acting almost like Reina does when in her cute mode. Had I known that she was as funny a person as this, I wouldn't have felt resentment toward her. I realize how important communicating can be.
まず細工殿へ入ったことは誰にも教えてはいけませんです。
もちろんよ。誓うわ。
Takano put her hands to her chest. She also forced Tomitake to do the same. It's funny to watch Tomitake trying to keep up with Takano too.
中はとても大切な場所ですから、怪我したり傷つき
もちろん分かってるわ。それで撮影は
可能ですが、1枚100円なのですよ。
ジローさん、あなた今いくら持ってるかしら？
1万円払うとお得な1日取り放題券になりますです。
Make it a clean $100, you can take all the pictures you want.
安い。
What a deal!
払うわ。ジローさん。
Jiro, wallet, now! They paid me the money for real. Hanya seemed excited knowing that the money could be used for buying desserts.
高野はとてもいい人なのです。
And all the massive turnaround, all of a sudden, like, oh, Takano's so great. Of course she
あ
can
ん
come.
たも現金ね。
I finally got approval from Oyashiro-sama, the master of the storehouse. We'd have no more problems now. The ritual storehouse is behind the building with the convention room. Sometimes people come out for a cigarette break. I can't let anybody see us entering.
大丈夫。誰もいないよ。
Tomitake checked out the scene and gave me the signal to go ahead. I nodded at him and unlocked the door. Pushed open the heavy door just far enough for us to sneak inside. Interesting. Well, I just started to think about, like, you know, obviously Rika's been doing the loop for a while, right? But, like, if she truly wanted to keep people out of the storehouse, why does she change the lock? If she knows... If all this time her goal has been to keep people out, specifically Takano, why has it become a thing that in recent times she changes the lock? To make, you know, to a simpler lock. Was it just truly what the actual answer has been and that she was just tired of the old complicated lock?
富武が表で待っていると不審に思われま。
僕も入るのかい？
He seemed surprised that I was asking him to come inside with us. Tomitake, of course, wasn't particularly interested in what was inside the storehouse. I expected his surprised reaction.
ジローさん、リカちゃんが入れって言った。早く入って。
ああ、わかったよ。
Tomitake squeezed inside as Takano urged him. I turned the light on and closed the door. Then I put the chain on from inside.
厳重なのね。
錠前が外れていることに気づいた悪い猫さんが入ってくると困りますのです。
悪い猫さんで申し訳ないわね。
高野、猫は猫らしくニャーニャー鳴かないとダメなのですよ。ニパー。
それはどういうことかしら。
高野がちゃんと猫さんじゃないと見せてあげないのです。ちゃんと鈴付き首輪と猫耳これをつけて四つん這いになってニャーニャー言ってくれなかったら次の扉を開けてあげませんです。
The shrine storehouse has two doors that people can't see inside when the first door is opened. At the moment, we were inside the entry chamber. The real storehouse is in the room beyond.
リカちゃんもきついな。いくらなんでもそんなの。
それが試練ならやるわ。
Of course.
これはリカちゃんが私の知的探求心がどれだけ一途で高貴か試しているのよ。
Tomitake is like, oh, okay, very funny, Rika. Takano's gonna be like, I'll do it. Yep. Give it. Give me the ears. Give me everything. I'll do it. Nya, nya, I'll do it.
いいわ。あなたが望むなら猫耳と尻尾付きで四つん這いになって前足で顔を洗いながらご主人様大好きだにゃーだって言ってみせる。
高野ってみんなと同じくらいの年だったらきっ
So
と部活
true.
メンバーに混じっていたと思いますのです。そうね、ほら世界恐慌の時ウォール街で紙切れになった株券が雪のように舞ったというじゃない。
So you keep saying like stocks are down on Takano, bro. Stocks have never been higher. Stocks have never been higher. These last like this last like hour has made her so much more endearing than she's ever been. Like, what are you talking about? Stocks down on Takano? Nah, stocks way up on Takano.
なんかそういう感じよ、高野の株。
さあさあ、猫耳と首輪だけでいいの？
Are you sure we're not taking this far enough? I can push it even further.
そもそもこの扉鍵なんかないよ。ほら、押せば開く。
そうあら嫌だ。私ったらみっともない。
ち
Tomitake has no sense of humor. He just turned off a lot of viewers who are looking forward to seeing Takano in the cat outfit. Yeah, no shit. I mean,
冗談
what?
はこのくらいにして押せば開きますのです。みぱー。
Once we went through the door, we found ourselves inside the storage area. There were no windows in there, so it was completely dark, even during the day. There were several light bulbs hanging from the ceiling, but they were dim, and their light only exaggerated the darkness inside. Yashiro-sama's statue and the altar dominated the center of the room. They were surrounded by tons of ancient torture implements. They were all over the floor, walls, and ceiling. It looked like a torture room rather than just storage for tools intended for one.
これはすごいね。
Tomitake was rendered speechless. They were nothing like those fake torture implements that they might have seen in a wax museum or someplace like that. The tools in this room are the genuine articles. I never like to think about it, but I'm sure some of them really were used. These authentic tools always have a big impact on the people who see them. Tomitake was the only one who was shocked, since he was the only normal person in the room. Takano's eyes were sparkling. She was taking pictures while meowing like a cat. This place isn't special to me. Of course, I know I'm supposed to treat it as a holy place, but I'm so used to seeing all these things after coming here countless times since I was little. To me, it's nothing but a storehouse with a lot of old stuff inside. As for Hanya, she says it's the only place the air from times past lingers in the present day, so she actually finds it comforting. I get in a good mood when I come here because Hanya gets in a good mood. This is a relaxing place for her. As I watch Tomitake's reaction, I notice how totally off my values are from normal people's. Takano's reaction seemed more natural to me, in a sense. Hanya seemed to be bothered by Tomitake's reaction too. Maybe it was a bad idea to let him come inside after all. Not like I could kick him out at this point. Hanya and I sat on a cushion in front of the altar and watched Takano dance with childish glee while Tomitake made touching efforts to keep up.
どうしてこんなにもたくさんの拷問道具を作ったんだろうね。
Okay. He's doing the voice change thing again. Like I noticed back in like chapter 2, I think it was. Like, there's points where like his voice acting is like totally different. I guess wait.
だって拷問というのは相手を屈服させるのが目的じゃないのかい？
Yeah, you're still
こ
not
ん
done
なに
talking.
いくつもおびただしい数や種類がどうして必要だったんだろ
これはすごいね。高野さん、そもそもこの扉鍵なんかないよ。ほら、押せば開く。
う。どうしてこんなにもたくさんの拷問道具を作ったんだろうね。だって拷問というのは相手を屈服させるのが目的じゃないのかい？こんなにいくつもおびただしい数や種類がどうして必要だったんだろ
It's almost like there were lines recorded in like two different environments. Like one sounds like it was a lot more professionally recorded, and then one sounds more like it was like they were just picking up extra lines or something, and they didn't go to like the proper studio or whatever, because I do kind of hear the similarities in the voice, but like the actual audio of it is just weird. It's weird. Anyway, not to linger on that again.
二郎さん、拷問道具には2つの脅し方があるのを知ってるかしら？一つは使用して相手を痛めつけることで効果を発揮するもの。もう一つは使用するぞ。使用したらものすごい痛いぞ。そういう意味ではいろいろ物騒な拷問道具がたくさん取り揃えてある光景はそれだけで
確かに拷問というのは実は高度な技術が必要だというような話は聞いたことがあるよ。程よく痛めつけてかつ殺さないというのは確かに加減が難しいことかもしれないね。
Tamatake acted like he's having a conversation with Takano, but his voice was obviously unsteady.
西洋の拷問道具の中にはやたらと装飾型で実際に使用すれば痛めつける以前にまあ拷問道具も厳密には屈服を目的とする被験者を対象にした純粋な拷問道具とこれを混同して誤解している人が多いのが嘆かわしいわね。
じゃあ話を戻すけど、これらの拷問道具で昔の人たちは何を屈服させようとしていたんだい？
Tamatake asked me that. He must have thought that Takano would say something far more scary if he asked her. He's forgetting that I'm just a little innocent girl.
私は鬼ヶ淵村の独自の戒律を厳重に守らせるためだったと思ってるんだけど、正解？
正解なのです。これらの細具は実際に使用するためでなく、むしろ展示して村人を怖がらせて戒律を遵守させることを主眼に置いたものだと言われてますです。だから実際にこれらの道具を使う時になってサイズが合わなかったり構造的に欠陥があったりで満足に使用できなかったという話も結構残っていますのです。
でも実際に使用することもあったんだろう？やっぱり穏便な話じゃないね。
戒律を守らないとお社様のたたりがあるだけではおとなしくルールに従ってくれない人たちもたまにはいたということなのです。
ねえリカちゃん、ではこれらの道具は基本的に村人を威圧するために用意されているのかしら？本当の意味での綿流しの時、食人の宴に使った調理解体道具だっていう説があるんだけど。
Hanyu was making a frustrated face. She didn't want to remember the dark history of Onagahuchi village. People performed countless torture ceremonies in front of her, claiming that they were doing it in her name, the name of Oyashiro-sama. She asked them not to do that, but no one was able to hear or see her.
ノーコメントなのですよ、ニパー。
高野さんによく僕も聞かされるよ。
I don't know, that idea is just it's kind of funny. Like you think about like all these scenes you see in like media and whatnot where they're like performing all these cult sacrifices and whatnot. Just imagining like whatever god they're sacrificing to is just like standing there, like they can't be seen. They're just standing there like guys, stop, guys, no, hey, we don't need to, guys, no, hey, this is too much, guys, please,
大昔の鬼ヶ淵村の人たちは神様のお告げがあると麓に降りて人をさらって食べてしまったんだろう。どうしてそんなことをしたんだろう。これもまた麓の人々に対する何かの見せしめなのかい？
私はそこはおそらく食物連鎖で人間よりも優位にあることを自覚するためにやった一種の儀式だと思っているわ。汚らわしい人間と交流すると汚れを持ち込む、そういうふうに言われていた。だから定期的に自分たちは人間以上の存在であることを自覚し直す必要があったんじゃないかしら。
日本にも晒し首があったしね。見せしめは非人道的ではあるけど抑止効果は極めて大だったというわけだ。
見せしめの犠牲者がひどい方法でそんなのを見せつけられたら絶対に自分はああされたくないって 誰もが思うわよね。
Among other things, yeah, that's probably. Yeah, you're watching someone getting fucking tortured, eaten alive. Just imagine sitting there, just calmly being like, "Wouldn't want to be that guy."
日本には晒し首だけでなく貼り付けだってあったでしょ。処刑場に高々と死刑囚を貼り付けにして観衆の前で恥ずかしめられながら長槍でブスブスと刺されるのよ。二郎さんもわかると思うけど、槍でほんの一月二月された程度じゃ腹部や胸部を貫かれればそれは十分に致死的なことではあるけれど、血がブクブクとあふれ出し、腹からは腸を引きずり出されて肺に血がたまり、最後には自らの血で溺れ死ぬ。そんな緩慢な死を思えば、ギロチンなんて人道的な発明よね。そうそう、ギロチンってね、貴族のために生み出されたんですってよ。銃殺や絞首刑よりももっともっときれいにあっさりすっぱりと死ねるように生み出した死の際まで特別扱いしてもらえる貴族のための処刑道具。フランス革命末期の恋愛を描いたなんとか物語っていう白黒映画があるんだけど、ラストのギロチンシーンは圧巻よ。観衆の嘲笑を浴びながら数珠つなぎの貴族たちが一列に並ばされて次々と一台のギロチンで処刑されていくの。ちょん、はい次、ちょん、はい次、ちょん。人間の死がわずか一瞬で、神父のお祈りもちょん、はい次、ちょん。もうそんな一瞬の死じゃ見せ物にならないからね。誰も個人の死に観衆は一人の死を見てるんじゃなくて何十人もの貴族がそれに比べたら一人の人間をじっくりいじめ殺す方がよっぽど個人を尊重しているとは思う。そんな濃密な死と拷問で飾り立てられたのがこのお社様という存在なわけ。
Takano raises her hand to honor the statue of Yashiro-sama.
お社様という存在は、その偶像は、そう、人が法則や戒律で石垣を組み上げ、呪いやたたり、奇跡や恐怖の漆喰でそれを固める。それらを積み上げて積み上げて、雲の上にまで届く高みを作り、その上に立てられるのが神という存在なの。
God damn, she's really getting into it, huh?
神は人が欲するゆえに人が生んだ人の手による存在。つまり人が人を恐怖で支配しようと思った時に生まれる純粋な恐怖と血と拷問の結晶。それがここではお社様という存在に、つまり神の世界へ至る階段は神ではなく人の手で作られていたことの証左であり、私たち人間をさらなる高みへ誘う指針を示して。
Her passionate lecture was interrupted by a loud noise. As I looked back, Hanya was jumping up and down with her eyes full of tears. She was stomping the floor as hard as she could, making a loud noise as if screaming out with her unheard voice. However, it all amounted to the same thing. Hanya cannot be heard by people.
僕は人が死んだりとか、みんなで一緒に仲良く楽しく暮らしてくれれば、もちろん僕たちが悪いところもいっぱいありますです。でもそんなのを望んだことなんて一度もないのです。羽生は羽生よ。お社様なんてあなたと違うのです。高野は嫌いです。嫌いなのです。いつも僕のことをひどく言いますのです。
Was it a bad idea for me to bring Takano in here? I knew that Takano would get overstimulated and say something like this. Fortunately, Hanyu's rejection indirectly reached Takano and she stopped lecturing. Somehow, Tomitake had heard the noise that Hanyu made. He pressed his finger in front of his lips and told Takano to be quiet.
何事なの？
さっき子供この建物の周りで。
そう？私には何の気配も感じないけれど。
いや、確かに聞こえたよ。
I mean, that does check out, right? Because they say the ones that hear Hanyu, that actually can hear the noises she makes and whatnot, are the ones that are, experiencing delirium and whatnot. And knowing how Tomitake typically ends up in these stories, it makes sense that he's susceptible to it by this point.
高野さ、ここへはリカちゃんの立場にも配慮して、もう少し静かに見学しないと悪いよ。
Takano seemed disappointed, but Tomitake was right. She had no choice but to be quiet.
富武、周りに子供なんていませんですよ。
そうかい？リカちゃんには聞こえなかった。僕は確かに飛び跳ねるような音を聞い。
もちろん遠くではなく、僕のすぐ後ろでドタンドタン跳ねていましたです。富武には遠くに聞こえたでしょうが、僕にはすぐ後ろだったのでうるさいくらいでしたですよ。
I was standing in front of the altar, and the statue of Oyashiro-sama was right behind me. Tomitake seemed freaked out after hearing what I just told him. Although he was trying to fake a smile, his face was turning pale. However, Takano didn't seem scared at
高
all.
野、西宮殿の中でお社様を怒らせるようなお社様がその声が聞こえませんか？
It's fortunate that she can't, to be honest. Even if she heard it, it'd be nothing but tears. My job as a shrine maiden to begin with is to tell humans what Oyashiro-sama is feeling. I'm responsible for speaking on Hanyu's behalf. Takano must have realized that I was very serious about what I just said. She apologized to me right away.
ごめんなさい。いささか調子。お社様もごめんなさい。人が崇めればそれは神。たとえ私が崇めなくても面白半分に冒涜したこと。
お社様は僕を経由してお供えしないとたたりがありますですよ。
Tomitake couldn't help but smile. Yeah, of course, he thinks it's a fucking joke, and like, the little kid just wants a treat, right? Takano also smiled. She bowed to me, promising to bring over some cream puffs soon. Takano finally stopped saying bad things about Ayashiro-sama. She also promised to bring me something sweet. Hanyu was still upset, but she was probably satisfied for the moment. But I didn't know what she meant by the 3 fingers she was showing me. What? Was she telling me to ask Takano for that too? Being her shrine maiden is not an easy thing.
お社様はシュークリームは最低でも6つ欲しいと言ってますですよ。
I'll bring cream puffs back next time. Make sure there's at least 3 of them. Tell her to bring at least 3 of them. If she truly wants to be forgiven, I want at least 3 of them. Fucking, I'm coming around on Hanyu.
僕が食べたいわけではないので誤解しないでほしいのです。
I just want to make it very clear. I don't really care about the number of cream puffs, but Ayashiro-sama really wants the fucking cream puffs. They took it as a joke I made to reduce the tension. Tomitake and Takano cracked up, holding their stomachs. Hanyu was looking at them with surprise, not knowing why they were laughing. My face, meanwhile, was turning red with
わ
embarrassment.
かったわ。お社様のためにリカちゃんやさとこちゃんの分も。
いえ、その代わり
何かしら。今日は西宮殿に入れてもらえるという。
僕が今から話すことを絶対に信じてほしいのです。どうしてとかそんなバカなとかはなしなのです。だから絶対に信じて運命に打ち勝って私を助けてほしいのです。
Both of them were surprised to see such a serious look on my face. I was sure they'd be surprised. After all, I was about to explain to them that they were going to die in 2 days. I'm sure they'd want to deny that, but I knew a fair bit about their deaths. If I could explain it to them in detail, they wouldn't be able to laugh it off. I'd talked to them about it several times in previous lives, but they never took it seriously. I only had that slight possibility that they might believe me. Hopefully, the possibility is as small as a miracle. It should be engraved on the side of a die. My friends overcame their fates, and they all rolled a 6. Should I call that a miracle? Please, God, let me roll a 6 again. Please let them believe that death is upon them. Interesting. Irie turned the light on as soon as he finished his presentation. There were about 8 men wearing lab coats inside the meeting room. The man sitting at the far end was the only person without one. Upon seeing Irie finish his speech, he clapped his hands several times. Having noticed his applause, the other men in the room followed suit.
それはよかった。
Ah. Okay.
本当によかった。この度の成果は個人的にもとても満足できるところです。
Interesting. Okay. That's why Tomitake and Takano are so connected, huh?
入江先生の献身的努力の賜物ですわ。
いえいえ、優秀なスタッフの協力があれば全てのスタッフに感謝します。
これで完全治療のめどが立ったと言えるでしょう。まだいくつかの詰めは残っておりますが、それは時間と予算が解決する問題です。
それにつきましてはよろしくお願いいたします。しかるべき人員と予算があれば61年度までには完全な医療体制を確立できると思います。今後の課題は専門知識のない医療機関でも容易に対応できるパッケージ的な治療方法の確立と、より安価で簡易な検査法の確立です。
検査法に関しては現在入江先生が血液採取から潜在患者を発見する方法をこの方法が確立すれば一般的な健康診断と併用できますので、相当の低コスト化を実現できると思われます。
それは素晴らしい。現在の検査法はだいぶ大掛かりで高コストですからね。いや、コストにまでお気遣いいただき本当に感謝します。国民の健康はすなわち国益のはず。それに予算問題を出すのは本当に情けないことなのですが、削れるなら1円でも安くというのが当方の立場なのです。
もちろん理解しています。治療法は確立したがコスト的に不可能では机上の空論でなく、実行可能な方法で考えるのも我々の仕事です。
Tomitake started clapping again and everyone followed him.
あなたは医師として優秀なだけで、あなたとお会いできたことを誇りに思います。
いえ、本当に拍手をいただくのは全ての方を治療できて、いわゆるお社様のたたりをそれまでどうか連帯して頑張っていけたらと思っております。
こちらこそ私も入江所長の要求する予算が限りなく額面通りになるよう努力します。どうか引き続きよろしくお願いいたします。
Tomitake and Irie shook hands. The meeting room was filled with applause yet
で
again.
は今夜の明日は皆さんもお待ちかねのメインイベント、各自奮闘しましょう。
Takano was being sarcastic, of course. Staff members in lab coats were smiling bitterly.
いや、必要な予算なら私も最大限配慮します。私は本当は皆さんの味方になってあげるんですが、上に説明するのも直接怒られるのも僕ですのでね。申し訳ございませんが、しぶしぶ厳格に審査させていただきます。どうかご協力をよろしくお願いいたします。
それが富武さんのお仕事ですからやむを得ません。どうか明日は。では本日はこれで解散といたします。
Once Irie declared the meeting over, his white-coated staff gathered up their documents and left after glancing at the clock. It was almost midnight. Staff who were off tomorrow might be alright, but those scheduled to work needed to sleep soon or it would hinder them the next day. Takano gathered up the butts from the ashtrays as well as the empty coffee cans.
あら、コーヒーを飲まない人もいるのね。せっかく会議用に認めさせたコーヒー代なんだから、ちゃんと飲んでくれないとこの分まで予算が切られちゃうのかしら。
ひどいな。僕も仕事でいやいややってるんだよ。
ああ、高野さん、そのコーヒー1本もらいます。
じゃあ僕も全て飲み切った方が予算請求には都合がいいでしょうから。
The two of them seemed more relaxed with the other staff members gone. Tomitake and Irie loosened their collars in a sigh of relief.
リカちゃんとサトコちゃんたちはお元気ですか？先週聞いた話ではサトコちゃんの検査結果が一時期良くなかったように聞きましたが。
あれは取り越し苦労のようでし急に暑くなりましたからね。体がびっくりしてしまったんでしょう。最新の検査結果では非常に安定した状態に戻っています。
入江先生は聡子ちゃんには特に熱心ですからね。
そんなことはあり、医師たるもの、すべての病める者には公平に全力を尽くします。
Trying to dress up all your patients in maid outfits too?
そして私に感謝して、
There
メイ
it
ド
is.
さんになってくれれば、いやはや、なかなかそうはなりませんね。
聡子ちゃんを完全に治療できる方法があれば、それはやはり難しそうですか。
聡子ちゃんのように一度でもレベル5に至った場合、幻覚症状の再現、いわゆるフラッシュバックに近い現象が起こりやすくなります。
Re-experience hallucinations. Ooh. Because that's the thing, like if we think about chapter 3, right? After Keiichi, there we go, Jesus. After Keiichi kills off Teppei, Satoko continues to act like Teppei's been there the whole time. He's never gone anywhere, right? She acts like nothing's changed, that Keiichi didn't do anything, making us feel like, wait, what Keiichi do? Was that a whole hallucination or whatever? Like, did that actually happen? And then like with later chapters, like is he remembering a memory from a different timeline or something? But like mayhaps it did happen, but Satoko was too far gone at that point. So that's why she continues to think Teppei is there, because like when Keiichi does eventually break into that house, right? He finds Satoko there, all, steamed up in the bathroom. But he finds no sign that Teppei had been there. Interesting. Re-experience hallucinations.
これは厳密には病気によるものではなく、精神の中に育まれる正常な防衛反応なんです。厚物に懲りてナマスを吹くということわざにもあるように、過去の経験を積極的に生かそうとする正常な反応なんです。
つまり一言で言えば、しかも前頭葉に直接ダメージを受けていることが考えられるので、一般的な心的外傷よりもずっと繊細なカウンセリングと長期の投薬が必要でしょう。
病気は治療できても心の傷は治せないということかい？
心的外傷に苦しむ人はその中の一人に混じれるだけでも、かつての聡子ちゃんの症状を思えば奇跡的な回復。
糖尿病などと同じに考えてください。不治の病ではあっても症状を抑えて元気に生活されている方も大勢。
聡子ちゃんは今でも日に3度の注射を？
いえ、だいぶ調子が落ち着いてきましたので、3度に比べればだいぶ負担は軽くなったと思います。
最初はだいぶ嫌がったんだけどね、リカちゃんがうまくごまかしてくれてるみたいよ。
ごまかして？
聡子ちゃんは生活資金の援助を受ける代償として。
では日に2度の注射は入江先生の研究の協力のためにやっているつもりな。
次郎さん、聡子ちゃんに自分がどういう病気にかかっているのかを説明すること、前に話さなかったかしら？
ああ、いや、思い出したよ。無神経なことを言って。
富武さんもどこかで聡子ちゃんに会ったら優しくしてあげてください。
そうですね、わかりました。
リカちゃんは本当に強い人ですね。聡子ちゃんと同じような境遇のはずなのに、あれだけしっかりと生活できるんですから。
すべてリカちゃんとお亡くなりになられたご両親のおかげですね。
Oh? Oh? Interesting.
多大なる理解と協力がなければ、これだけの短期間では治療の糸口は見つけられなかったでしょう。
Well, they say that Rika's dad died from an illness, right? And obviously, you know, when we were under the impression that all the series of deaths were connected in some way, we thought that was like, oh, it's got to be a cover up for something, right? Because they said like the illness they described didn't seem like the way he suddenly died. It seemed like there's no way, there's no like known illness we know that could have possibly taken him out. So there's no way it could have actually been an illness, right? So then was the father like sick and he like what reached out to the government, it looks like, judging by, you know, Tomitake being here and whatnot, like
人道的でない実験にもよく耐えてくれました。ご両親の死をも乗り越えてくれた彼女の協力なくして今日の成果はありえません。なんとかその恩に報いてあげたいものです。
そうですね。東京もリカちゃんと聡子ちゃんが最大の功労者であることは理解しています。必ずや二人の協力に見合う感謝を示すでしょう。
あらあら、私たちにはコーヒーフィルター代まで渋るのに。
だからそれをいじめないでほしいな。昨年の話は高野さんに根をもたれっぱなし
でも私たち大人は彼女たちの協力に結局お金でしか報いれないのね。心で報いる方法があればいいのに。
Takano muttered like she's talking to herself, but almost sounded as if she was talking to them.
きっと心で報いる方法は日常の中にたくさんあります。それらを一つ一つ積み重ねていくことでいろいろな形でお返しができると思います。
入江先生は、いえ、監督は日々そうしておられるようですわね。私もあの子たちに何か親切でもするようにしてあげないと。
そうだよ。高野さんはそれでなくとも今日
いけない。明日の朝一でフィルムを現像に。本当に貴重な体験。歴史、文化、その息吹、本当に素晴らしい時間だったわ。
Idia wondered what she could have experienced during the day. Tomitake could only smile and act like he didn't know anything.
そうだ、高野さん、今日の最後にされたリカちゃんのあのお願いだけど、どう思う？
被害妄想だと思いたい。本人だって明確な証拠は示せないって言ったわけだし。
何かあったんだ。話だけを聞いているとリカちゃんに良くない兆候が出たように聞こえますが。
Oh no.
先週のリカちゃんの、私は極めて安定した良好な結果だったと思っているのですが。
いいえ、今回もとても安定した聡子ちゃんの検査結果が日本海の荒波だと例えるならリカちゃんは琵琶湖の水面のような感じです。二人の気象そのものですね。
急性発症の可能性は？
一体何事で、まさかリカちゃんに症状の進行が見られる。
実は今日彼女から私たちに依頼があったんですわ。自分の命が狙われているように思うので身辺警護の強化を依頼したいと。
そんなバカ一体誰が？考えられない。
リカちゃんは村中から愛されてるマスコットで、僕も正直眉唾だとは思っています。
リカちゃんは自分の命が脅かされている追跡妄想や被害妄想の類だとしたら、確かに
夢で見たと、そういう悪夢にうなされてとても怖い思いをした。
あのくらいの年の子なら夢見が悪くて怖く、でも僕たちの立場上それが単なる悪夢なのか初期症状なのかは慎重に判断する必要があるだろうね。
わかりました。明日彼女には緊急検査を。問題がないことを祈ります。今のこの村で彼女より大切な人間は。
何も問題がなければ。でももしそうだったとしたら。
次郎さん、リカちゃんはあれだけのものを私たちに見せてくれて、その見返りがあのお願いなのだとしたら、とても身辺に不安を感じるという訴えをしてくれたんだから、これがお金でなく心で報いるということじゃないのかしら。
そうですね。仮に訴えが彼女の言うように夢見のせいだったとしても、ある意味幸運ではありませんか。彼女に恩返しをする方法が一つ見つかったわけですからね。
確かにおっしゃる通りで、それに彼女の訴えは 私たちが当初から保障しているはずの権利でもあります。
それでなくても私たちは彼女の安全を徹底的に守らなければならない。
その通りです。それについては私ではなく、どうかよろしくお願いいたします。
わかりました。では高野さんの権限内でお願いします。東京から番犬を派遣するレベルでもないでしょう。
フルでリカが夢にうなされたので派遣をお願いしますなんて。了解します。山犬に最低4名の24時間警護を命じます。
それは私が上京する時の警護より厳重です。
だってリカちゃんにはそれだけ。そりゃあもうすごい警護をつけるわよ。リカちゃんの暗殺を企むような奴らは絶対阻止。山犬の再生営を護衛につけるわ。大統領は撃ててもリカちゃんは撃てると思うなよ。
Oh, Jesus. So did Rika only mention her own death and not anything about Takano and Tomitake's?
たとえ相手が超永久スナイパーでも。にゃーにゃー。
にゃにゃー。
鬼ヶ淵村の神秘万歳。
高野さん、何かいいことでもあったんですか？
Hey, Takano, you good?
いや、その
Okay. Interesting, interesting. After looking through the items that had been donated for the auction, we had realized that there was nothing kids would be interested in. Keiichi insisted that the show wouldn't be a success unless there was something that kids would beg their parents to buy. He's probably right. For that reason, we went to the toy store again today. We were trying to get the owner to donate something that would interest all the kids attending the festival.
なるほど。うちも先日のみんなのおかげで売れ残りをいろいろとゲームを売ることができたからね。協力したいのは山々なんだけど。
バッチャは叩き売りオークションが大人も子供も楽しめるイベントになることを大いに期待しております。
You wouldn't dare disappoint Oreo, would you?
ダメかな、吉郎おじさん。
本家の大ババ様に期待されちゃあな。わかったよ。なんとか協力するよ。断ると大晦日にどんな嫌味を言われるか怖いや。
すげえな。ミオンとこのばあさんって本当に偉いんだな。
私は会ったことありませんけど怖い人らしいんですのよ。シオンさんが言うには趣味は人の生爪を剥がすことなんだとか。
I mean...
それはしーちゃんが脅かしただけだよ。
Yeah, I don't know, Balloon.
レナはみーちゃんのおばあちゃんをよく知ってるよ。とっても優しい人なんだよ。礼儀正しくしてれば。
I'm impressed that she can refer to that monster as a nice lady.
礼儀正しくないと怖いのです。
So, okay, so are we seeing this from Shion's perspective then? Is that where this is coming from? Because I can't imagine Keiichi fucking saying that. Or I guess it could be we haven't heard Rika speak. So I guess we don't really know what. And that's the Rika has seen her before because she does sit in on the meetings at times.
あと敬語の使い方が間違ってる人にも怖いのですよ。ニパー。それは私には優しくないという意味ではございませんの？ケイちゃん、話ついたよ。
His laugh was a painful one.
どうして村人はミオンの言うことを聞きますのですか？
She's the goat.
そりゃ園崎本家の意向に決まってるじゃない。ミオンはその園崎本家のお姫様だもの。誰も逆らえないわね。リカもフルデ本家のお姫様なのですよ。ありがとう。
Members of Sonozaki branch families who own businesses usually get their funding from Mion's family. They can never go against the will of the main branch. The Sonozaki family made a fortune on the black market after the war, and they've invested those funds as a capital into businesses run by their family and the villagers. They charge almost no interest and require no cosigners or collateral. As long as one gives a proper explanation, they'll provide a notable sum. The money has to be paid back, of course, but it's lent between family and community. They're willing to make some adjustments if one goes begging. For that reason, everyone is borrowing money from the family. And that, more than anything, is why they can never refuse a request from Mion.
よーし、じゃあみんな手分けしてこれはと思うものを探してくれ。探し方のコツとしては、例えばトランプを一箱叩き売りしたって迫力がないだろ。
Yeah, it cuts back to the other, like, yeah, of course.
でかいものの方が迫力があっていいもんな。
つまり大きくて高いものを狙い撃ちなのです。任せなさいま。そういうのなら大得意ですわよ。みんなお店のおじさんの顔色を見ながら選ぼうね。うわー、このぬいぐるみかわいいかわいい。
Yeah. And then fucking Raina's values go out the fucking window because it's cute.
かわいいかわいい。全部お持ち帰り。
みんな少しは
The shop owner smiled bitterly at us.
ケイチくん、これは何だろう。ブランコって書いてあるよ。ブランコって公園のブランコ？うわ、重たい。
ああ、組み立て式のブランコだろ。庭や室内に置いて遊べるはずだ。公園のブランコのようなダイナミックな遊び方はできないけどな。小さい子が遊ぶにはまあ最初のそのうち飽きて使わなくなると洗濯物を干すのにちょうどよくなるんだよ。
やたら例えがリアルなのです。ケイチは持ってましたのですか？
前の家でな、小さい頃のクリスマスのプレゼント。何しろパッと見の迫力があるしな。いいチョイスだぞレナ。
はい、ケイちゃん、これを貼っといて。後で町会の人に取りに来てもらうから。
Mion handed Keiichi a piece of paper that said Town Council on it. She was carrying around a whole stack of them. She's really thorough when it comes to things like that.
ケイチさん、これなんかいかがですの？家庭用プールでしたよ。
ほう、それもなかなかいいチョイスだな。ミオ、こいつも押さえとかないか？
ひなみ沢じゃ水遊びがしたければ沢へ行けばいいからね。微妙じゃないかな。
でも金魚さんのプリントがなんだか可愛らしいね。レナはこのプールあってもいいと思うかな私もあっていいと。これだけたくさんの水が貯められればいろんなトラップに応用が効きますのよ。
ダメだダメだ、その威力を味わうのは却下却下。
ならこれはどうなのですか？ゾウさんの滑り台なのですよ。みー、これは僕も面白そうだと思い、僕もお持ち帰りしたいのですよ。さとこが滑ろうとした瞬間に想像しただけで楽しくなってきた。
Of course, that's her inner thought.
羽生もそんなさとこを見たいでしょ。
Oh.
リカはさとこに意地悪して遊ぼうとしてますのです。それもいいね。お持ち帰り。
はいはい、売約済み売約。
We enjoyed the privilege of picking donations for a while. I started to feel bad seeing the owner's troubled expression. Patted him on the head to try and comfort him. Nipa.
おお。
どうしたの、ケイちゃん。
Gage found something in the tabletop game section. I walked toward him to see what it was. There I saw a green mat on the table with the mahjong tiles all lined up on it. They were arranged into a square shape as if someone was playing there until just a few minutes ago.
あれ、何これ、よしろ。勤務時間に麻雀なんかやってた。
いやいや違うよ。これはね、
I'd expected to see board games and card games in the toy store, but not mahjong. I guess it isn't weird for a toy store to sell this, though.
すっごい久しぶりだよ。もうほとんどルールは忘れちゃったかな。
おお、レナくらいの女の子が麻雀を知ってるなんてすごいじゃないか。あ、ひょっと以前に部活の種目になったことがあるんだろう。
去年の暮れでしたかしらね。 もちろん私も大活躍でした。私の川にはトラップが潜んでいましたよ。
ミオ、お前な、裏若き女の子が4人も集まって学校でも。
ちょっとケイちゃん、麻雀をバカにしちゃダメだよ。
I love how he acts like Mahjong is this fucking degenerate fucking game. It's just a fucking game. Like, sure, it's a game they use to gamble with a lot. In the same way, you can play poker without wagering real money. You can play Mahjong just for fun, you know?
南沢は豪雪地帯。村の冬の娯楽は麻雀一色になるんだから。こたつでぬくぬくみかんと麻雀。テレビからは紅白が流しっぱなし。風情があっていいね。
That's probably how the Sonozaki family spends its winter. Doesn't mean the whole village does that.
そういえばここいらは豪雪地帯なんだったな。
Yeah, you've never gotten to see the winter,
こた
have
つ
you?
で遊べる大人のゲームといったら麻雀はど定番だよな。
ケイちゃん、麻雀をバカにしちゃいけないよ。麻雀こそは男社会の潤滑よ。四角いジャングルを囲むとき、男たちは
The square
東なら
jungle.
清流、西なら白虎、南は朱雀、北は玄武。普段の上下関係やいさかいを全部捨てて対等な関係で戦い合うわけ。その精神の尊さは古代オリンピックにも通じるものがあるってわけね。すごいでしょ。
俺はそれよりもこいつがいつ部活に登場して罰ゲームが何になるかの方が怖えぞ。
ケイチ君は麻雀わかるの？
親父が好きでな。お客さんが来た時メンツが足りないと無理やり入れられてて、強いかどうかはともかくルールはわかる。不計算はできないけどな。
Yeah, no. The few times I've been around Mahjong, I fucking do not understand it, like, at all. I kind of understand, like, the basics, but if you ask me to, like, fucking calculate anything, hell no.
それはそうと、なんでこんなところに麻雀が出てるわけだ？
Everyone looked at the
い
owner.
やね、お昼に来たお客さんと話してたらツバメ返しができるっていうんで見せてもらったんだよ。
ツバメ返しだって？麻雀史上究極の荒技イカサマじゃないか。古代中国にて伝説の達人が編み出したという中国拳法究極の技。その威力は宝具と同じとまで言われ、あまりの恐ろしさに時の皇帝によって葬り去られたと聞いていたが、ちなみにこれは親父の受け売りなので真相は保証しない。
I mean, that's just what I heard from my dad, but you know.
ツバメ返しって宮本武蔵だっけ？麻雀とどういう関係なのかな？手牌と山牌を瞬時に入れ替えてしまう大網パー。
おいミオ、なんでお前はこういう痛いけな子にそういう悪い知識。
いや
So what the hell was that laugh?
見てみたいな。
Not run that back.
いや
I fucking love Beyond so much, dude.
誰かやってみせてよ。リカちゃんはできる。知ってるだけでできませんです。さとこが一時期練習してましたですよ。
ちょっと待て、さとこ。お前その年でそんなのを練習するんじゃない。
戦う前からトラップは始まっているなんて雰囲気は確かにさとこの得意としそうな雰囲気だね。
相手が圧勝におごり油断した最後の勝負で仕掛けるのこそ最高の。
で、さとこは結局マスターできたわけ？練習はしてたんでしょ？
実戦ではとても使えませんわね。練習でほんの何度かできたことがあるっきりですわ。へえ、見たい見たい。さとこちゃんやってみせてよ。僕も見てみたいのです。仕方ありません。失敗しても笑わないでくださいませよ。
Natsuko sat in front of the table and started piling up the tiles.
さとこはそんなすごいことをできるの？さあ、どうかしらね。成功すればすごいし、 照れてるサトコが可愛いから私は実は成功失敗はどうでもよかったりして。
Hell yeah.
まずあらかじめ山の範囲に欲しい灰を仕込んでおくことから始めます。なるほど。それと手灰を一気に入れ替えちゃう。でもどう手品なの？
だからね、手配と仕込んだ灰を一気に入れ、ぜひ実際にアニメーションか何かでご覧に入れたい。文章での中継なのでそのあたりは想像で保管してください。
Man, I'd love to show you all an animation of how that would work, but you know, since we're only using words here, use your imagination. Thanks, Mion. I appreciate it.
ミーが誰に喋ってるのかわからないのです。
と言いつつカメラ目線なリカちゃんもな。
では行きますわよ。
Everyone gulped and looked closely at the table. Satoko moved her hands like a swan on a lake. She had 13 tiles in front of her. Then she silently flipped them all face down. Then she lifted them up by holding both ends and silently placed them against the back edge of the wall, keeping them hidden.
さあ、いよいよここからだよ、サトコ。
自信がありませんけど行きますわよ。
We all went quiet. Satoko reached out toward the Yamahai. Then she grabbed the whole thing with her small little hands.
というわけで、ここで麻雀の詳しくない人にいかに山灰をつかむのが大変かを説明しよう。
Thanks, Mion.
自分の手配は通常13杯だ。
That's, I love how she's just like, yeah, they're probably not familiar with Mahjong. Let me just really break it down for them. I won't give them all the fine details of like what Mahjong entails, but this move in particular, let me really break it down for you.
この程度の数なら両手でうまく押さえつけるように持てば宙に持ち上げることだってできる。
But if you push them too hard, they scatter.
不慣れだと失敗してぶちまけてしまうが、そう難しいことではない。だが山灰はそうはいか。山灰は基本的に17杯、しかも2段積みなのだ。しかもここからが17杯かける2段を丸ごと動かせばいいわけではないのだ。上段は17杯全部を、下段は端の4杯のみを移動させなければならない。これを先ほど山の向こうに置いた手配13杯にかぶせることで、手配は山の中に埋もれ、さっき山灰を移す時に残した下段の13杯が自分の手配として残るのだ。これこそ積み込み技の究極と言われるゆえん。
I have no idea what the fuck any of that meant, but go off, Queen.
全13杯を丸ごと全部入れ替えてしまう大技なのだ。
サトコ、しっかりなのですよ。
I could see Satoko trying to concentrate. She was supposed to be doing this more naturally since it's a technique for cheating. But since for the moment it was just performance, I suppose it's fine. Someone audibly swallowed at the exact moment she made her move. She had put too much strength into it, yep. Her tiles fell apart.
やっぱり無理だ。こんなのなかなかできるものじゃありませんわ。
でも要領は今のとミオンの解説で大体分かったぜ。ちょっと俺もやってみる。
レナも挑戦してみよう。今のうちに覚えておかないと後で大変そうだからね。僕も挑戦しますです。
All of us except Mion took a seat and started piling up the tiles. Oh yeah? Does she want to explain Mahjong to me?
一見するとルールを知らない子供たちが麻雀牌で遊んでるように見えるんだけどね。
その実態はツバメ返しの練習だってんだから。私の部員たちは実にたくましく育ってくれたもんだよ。
My hands and Satoko's hands are about the same size. If she can do it, I know I can too. Sometimes I forget I'm reading from Rika's perspective. I was like, how the fuck are Satoko and Keiichi's hands the same size? That doesn't make sense. Of course, I can't really use this trick during a real game. We were just playing around, but I was having a good time. I've never done this before in my 100 years of life.
手が不器用になった気がしますわ。悔しいですわね。最初の13杯を持ち上げるのも難しい。
いいかレナ、両手の小指で挟み込むんだよ。そうそう、力を入れすぎると弾けるぞ。
かといって力が足りないとうまく持てないしね。 その塩梅を得得する。
It's very difficult to lift up the first 13 tiles to begin with. Not everyone can get past this stage. Satoko was doing well the first time, but she lost her concentration and is dropping her tiles now. I took Keiichi's advice and supported the tiles with my pinky fingers and lifted it up. Oh, I did it.
最初の13個をうまく持てましたの。
おお、いや、なんだよ。リカちゃんが一番リードしてるぞ。負けられねえ。
リカも器用なのです。続きもうまくできますのですか？なかなか難しいわね。
One step at a time, Hanyu. Easy.
誰よりも最初に成功させたいっていうだって今はそういう遊びなんだからね。続けていくわよ。
くそ、リカちゃんが一番乗りになっちまうのか。
次の入れ替えができればいきなり成功だね。次は牌がいっぱいあるから大変。頑張れなのですよ。リカ、正念場でしたよ。
I had to lift up the whole top row and only 4 tiles from the bottom row. I probably didn't need to use too much force. I can do this. Crash.
惜しいな。
やっぱり横に17牌もあるとそれだけで難易度は急激に高くなるね。
僕が一番に成功させますです。きっとできなかった人には罰ゲームがあるに違いないのです。
なんだってミオ、本当か？
どうしようかね。
There were only 4 seats, so Mion wasn't even in the game. That mean that she could set up a punishment with no risk to herself?
みーちゃんはやってないのにずるい。ずるいという暇があったら練習あるのみでございますわよ。なんだか大変なことになってしまったのって。
I thought we came all the way to Okonomiya to get donations for the auction. Why are we doing this now? Although, that's why I love hanging out with these people. If it wasn't for them, I would have lost my soul a long time ago. I would have become a worthless piece of flesh. I've heard that rabbits can die from loneliness, but humans are no different. Humans can also die from boredom.
羽生、やっぱり今回の世界はもちろんそれは個々にはいずれもあり得ることばかりなんだけど、そもそもリカの運命がたまにはためにためた幸運を違いないわね。
If I have such a miserable and deadly fate, I do deserve some happiness that evens out the sadness. I felt like the luck I'd been getting in this life was something that I'd been saving up for 100 years. The people I love are all healthy and happy. I also asked Takano to reinforce my security. I don't know if she really will, but she promised me. She never did that in my previous lives. I think her reaction to my request was the best one so far. In fact, she was skipping on her way back home. She must have been in a good mood. I was sorry for breaking the family rules, but I think it was worth it. I told them that their lives were also in danger, but I doubt they really believed that. Okay, as long as you passed that on. That's what I was kind of worried about. I was like, did you just mention yourself? Because, like, I thought a big part of it was like, if we break that rule, then, like, we really can, make a change here. They didn't seem too frightened by it. I'd have to give them a final warning on the night of Watanagashi. If I try warning them too often, they'd never believe me.
なら、私はもうこの世界でできる努力はないということなのかしら。わかりませんのです。その時が訪れてみるまで何もわかりませんのです。
I'm blessed with miraculously good fortune in this world. I gave it my best effort using all my previous experience. But did I do enough? I wish I could have my fortune told. I just wanted something to tell me that I did everything right. Please tell me what my fortune is. And as soon as I made the wish, God granted it to me.
ありゃ、何ですかこれは。
Oh no. I suddenly heard a low voice. Keiichi and Reina dropped their tiles as soon as they heard it.
これは勤務中にこんなお店に入っていいんですか？
どうもどうも。今日は非番ですからご安心。
今日ってところね。
今日がどうかしましたか？はて。
It looked like Aisha was ordering something from the owner. I wondered what this old guy wanted from a toy store of all places. The owner was wondering the same, and she asked him instead of me.
いえね、麻雀のマットを丸めてだいぶ長いことしまっていたせいで、おたつの板裏もすっかり緑の布が剥げちゃってて、使い物にならず困ってたんですよ。
ほう、 雀荘じゃなくてご自宅で優雅な休日の過ごし方なことで大方妙な語呂とトラブルでも起こして出禁でも食らったんじゃありません？
まさかまさか公僕たる者は遊戯場でも紳士でなくてはいけません。そんなトラブルなんて起こしませんよ。それはさておき、皆さんも麻雀ですか？若い方は麻雀なんかできないと思っていましたよ。
我が部の精鋭を侮ってもらっちゃ困りますね。およそ勝敗のつくものなら種目は問わず、どんな登場であっても背中は向けないの。それがたとえ麻雀、パチンコ、競馬、競輪、競艇、果ては書道、聖火、ゲートボールまで何であろうと。
最後には足を踏み外すと下が溶岩や濃硫酸とかになってるところで戦わされそうなのです。
We'll be punching boulders in an active volcano in no time.
大丈夫だリカちゃん。その登場は仮に死んでも単行本が 2,3 冊も進むとひょっこり生き返れる。
圭一さんとリカが何の話をしてるのか
I don't think I know
さっぱりわかりませんよ
exactly
ね。
what they're referencing, but like,
はて、これはどういう場ですか？まだ山を積んでるところ。
いえ、違う。ツバメ返しの練習なんですよ。
ツバメ返しのいやはや、
この人なんだよ。さっきお昼に来てツバメ返しを見せてくれた人は。
なんだって
see, I was kind of thinking that because, like, obviously Oishi loves his fucking mahjong, but I'm trying to think about like, I feel like there's got to be like there's like a foreshadowing in this, right? Just how like the thing with the cards in the very first chapter, how like you don't look too deeply into it, and sometimes the truth is exactly what it looks like, right? There was a lesson within that game as well. I feel like if I understood mahjong better, there's something to glean from this move they're trying to learn, and the fact that Oishi is the one that can pull it off. The whole thing about swapping your tiles at the wall, but with enough force, like none of that means fucking anything to me. Like, I know what mahjong tiles look like, and that's about all I fucking know. It's about like, oh yeah, no, you pick the 13, but then you grab the 17, and then you swap them, and I'm like, I don't fucking understand at all what you're trying to say with that. Even with me on like turning to the camera and breaking it down for me, like, let me explain to you the details of this specific move they're trying to practice right now. I still don't fucking get it, because I don't fucking get mahjong.
実践じゃできませんがね。まあ。
ぜひやってみせてくださいよ。俺、ぜひともその技をマスターしたいんです。というか、マスターしないと今年の冬の部活がヤバそうなんです。
ね。いいですと。あなたは間違えたらごめんなさい。
すみません。はい、そうで引っ越してきたばかりの、こんにちは。
あれ、ケイちゃんは初対面？こちらはね、警察の大石さん。綿流しの実行委員会にも警備の顧問として参加してるから、そのうち実行委員会の席で会えるよ。
そうそう。なんでも相当叩き売りオークションの司会はあなたしかいないと皆さん。しかし司会とは責任重大だ。よく引き受けられましたね。実に勇気と度胸があります。
でも引き受けたからには頑張りますんで、前原圭一と申し、どうかよろしくお願いします。
元気なだけでなく若いのに感心です。私は沖宮署のなんならクラちゃんでも結構。
では大石は僕。
これはすみます。ではちょっくら失礼させていただきます。
You rapidly gathered up the tiles. I can tell I've been doing it for a long time.
柔道家は相手の帯の結び方を見るだけで段を知るっていうような、まさにそんな感じっすね。
ね。はいを積むだけで褒め。はい。では参りますよ。それ。ちょっと。
Thud, swoosh, clack, clack. All done.
はい。こんな感じですね。
うおー！8歳だ！
We all broke out in cheers. You often hear the audience cheer for a big performance on TV, but it really was more impressive seeing in person. He did it so quickly, too. He made it look so simple that anyone could do it, but everyone here knows that it's very difficult to do. Okay, you know what? Fuck this. I'm taking a brief little detour, alright? I'm pulling up Google. Alright, let's fucking search Tsubame Gaishi Fate? Fate? Like the fucking Fate? Of course, the first thing that pops up is the fucking 7th expansion wiki. It's the mahjong term. Show me. Okay, yeah, show me a YouTube video. Show me or a Reddit video, whatever. Oh. Put those tiles up front, move those around, and oh. Well, yeah, that. I mean, I guess that's something you could get away with if you completely distracted the people you were playing with, sure. I see what they're saying now. Yeah, you put it up to the wall and move the wall around. I see. That's what they mean by the 4 on the bottom. Okay. Now I get it. Yeah, and then you move that. They do use the pinkies. He was right about that. And apparently, like, the one I'm watching isn't the one they're trying to do. Because you're supposed to put your hand up behind the wall. But this guy puts his hand in front of the wall. Interesting. Right. Uh-huh. I see. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if there's an actual lesson to be gleaned here, because even though I see what they're doing, I still don't fucking understand mahjong in the slightest. So, like, I don't entirely know what the wall entails and what you stand to gain from doing this. Like, I see what they're doing, right? When he pops up his new hand, it's obviously he's got 3 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those. Like, I see what he's doing here. I just don't... Like I said, I don't understand fucking mahjong at all, but, like, it is nice to actually have a visual. It is nice to actually have a visual, even if it's not entirely the one they were trying to illustrate to us in this game. Hear what Oishi was trying to pull off, because apparently what Oishi's trying to pull off is even more complicated. We're not trying to. Oishi did pull it off. But okay. I do see what the trick is. But like I said, I don't understand mahjong at all, so I guess I don't see the lesson to be learned in it. So without further... So anyway. That was why we were all impressed how easily he performed the trick.
すげえです。マジで感動しました。俺に教えてください。もう一度
いいですよ。では私の真似をして、本当はスローの方が難しいんですが、特に小指に注目しててくださいよ。
Especially the pinkies.
まずこうですね。ここまではわかります。それからそこでこう。いえいえ違います。前へスッとせり出す感じです。
Yeah, see that thing sliding it. That's what I saw in the video too. They don't lift it up, they slide it.
でもオスのとは違う。ホバークラフトのようにほんのわずかだけ宙に浮かしてスッと。
ホバークラフトのような気持ちで。くそ。
力は入れなくていい。実際は音をさせたらもう失敗なんですから、無音で忍者のような気持ちです。
忍者の気持ちでもう一回やります。見ててください。
It was strange. I'd never seen Keiichi and Oishi play mahjong together. I mean,
なんだかケイチ君と大石さんって仲良しになれそうな感じがするね。
yeah, sure, Reina.
やっぱり男同士だと通じるものがあるのでございましょうね。
She usually appears only after Takano and Tomitaka get murdered on the night of Watanagashi. This is true. He's only ever appeared on the scene as a detective. He always approached Keiichi as a detective, so he never thought of him as someone he could trust. He only thought of Keiichi as a decoy to expose the culprits among the villagers or some nonsense like that. So even when you see it, it's hard to believe that Keiichi and Oishi are having a good time together like friends.
ケイチと大石が仲良しなんて僕も初めて見ますのです。でしょうね。私だって初めてだもの。これをどう受け取ればいいのかしら。大石が現れた時、運試しは今日だって思ったのに。
I couldn't understand this world at all. My heart was pounding and I had the strong feeling that I'd roll a 6 every time I threw the die. I should roll it again. I think I'll roll a 6 again. I'll know it before I roll it. I will roll that 6. I'll finally defeat my deadly fate.
いらっしゃいませ。あ、いたいた。
Akasaka.
大井さん、買ってきましたよ。
Akasaka. My heart started racing. Yeah, no shit. We've never seen Akasaka, as far as I know. Akasaka and Rika never saw each other again since the events of Chapter 4. The voice sounded so familiar, I'd heard it before. But that couldn't be right. Hanyu always warned me. Don't expect too much. It couldn't be him.
ああ、赤さんご苦労様です。お店すぐに分かりましたか？
申し訳ありません。親切な郵便屋さんに声をかけてもらわなかった。
A young man was standing there. He was wearing a casual outfit and holding a plastic bag in his hand. I always thought Akasaka wore a shirt and tie. He also seemed much smaller. He looked at me as I stared at him. Normally you look away when you make eye contact with a stranger. But we stared at each other without averting our gazes. Because you're not strangers.
赤坂なのですか？
Is Akasaka actually gonna keep his promise and save her? Is he gonna do it? Bro. Yo, Hanyu tells us not to get our hopes up, but bro, I'm getting my hopes up.
やっぱりリカちゃんだね。
え？知り合い？
赤坂さん、フルデさんと面識が、これは驚いた。
久しぶりだね。少し伸びた。
赤坂こそなんだかたくましくなったようなのです。
This is Mamoru Akasaka. He's a detective from the Tokyo Metropolitan Public Safety Department. He sometimes shows up in Hinamizawa in 1978. He has no relation to Hinamizawa or my deadly curse, but outside the village, he's the person I trust the most. I've asked for his help in the past several times. Nothing ever came of it. He's from so far away. He forgets about me once he returns to Tokyo. That's why I'd given up on him.
赤坂はどうしてまたひなみ沢に？
子供を両親の家に預けてね。家内と二人で旅行に来たんだよ。
The wife's alive?
家内？
うん。君は家内の命。わからないだろうね。
Huh?
赤坂さんはもう、5年前でした。沖宮にまではるばる出張に来られたのに、入院中の奥さんのことが急に寂しくなっちゃって、 いやいや、愛のなせる技です。
Huh?
奥さんとラブラブ、なんだかちょっぴり素敵かな。
So what, this is the one timeline where he heeded Rika's warning where she's like, you need to return to Tokyo or else, you'll regret it if you don't return to Tokyo immediately.
あの時リカちゃんが東京に帰ってどうしても不安になってね。雪江の病院に戻ったんだ。そしたらその日に屋上への階段で清掃員の事故があったって言うんだ。
The tiles on the stairs were loose. The janitor fell down the stairs and got seriously injured. I knew that was going to happen because I'd seen him lose his mind after hearing about his wife's death in a life I lived a long time ago. Falling down the stairs seems just like the luck of the draw. I didn't think it would happen all the time, but it happened to him over and over. So I thought there must be some kind of reason behind it. I guessed it was because of the broken tiles on the stairs. If he didn't show up at the hospital that day, his wife would have gone up those stairs. It was her daily routine, but she didn't go because he showed up. Meanwhile, the janitor went up the stairs and got injured.
だからリカちゃんは雪江の恩人なんだ。
私は赤坂さんは女房の恩人に間違いないって言って今回もあなたにぜひ会いたいって強く要望して。
確かにリカってたまに予言じみたことを言いますのよね。
Okay, wait a minute. He says Akasaka has no doubt that you saved his wife's life. He really wanted to meet you again. Yet, when they actually see each other again, Oishi says, wait, you know Furude-san? That's a big surprise. Yeah, wait a minute. I'm noticing a little inconsistency here. When Akasaka first acknowledges Rika, he's like, oh, you two know each other? But then he tells the story, no, she's like, yeah, Akasaka's been waiting forever to see you again. He really wanted to meet you again, yeah. I knew this the whole time. Like, wait a minute. What?
さすがはお社様の生まれ変わりだね。
おっといけない。もうクマちゃんも佐藤さんも来てる時間です。赤坂さん、ちょっと一緒に。では前原さん、この続きはまたその時はもっと実践で使える技をご教授します。
ぜひよろしくお願いします。
じゃあまたね。
赤坂はいつまでこっちにいるのですか？
綿流しのお祭りまで長すぎる夏休みだろ。有給消化率が悪すぎると庶務から怒られてね。
Hey, same.
山が一つ終わったんで室長から長期休暇を許されたんだ。お祭りにはきっと行くよ。聞くところによるとだいぶ盛大なお祭りになったんだそうだね。
I'm definitely looking forward to this year's Watsunagashi then. Tomitaki and Takuno are on the alert that they've been informed that something will happen to them, and now they're trusting of Rika, so like there's a part of them that might believe it. Now Akasaka's here. I don't know what his involvement is gonna change, but like he's a totally new player in this game. We ain't ever seen him here at this point.
そう赤坂の時のようなただの酒盛りではないのです。
赤坂さん、行きましょう行きましょう。
君は雪江の恩借りはきっと返すよ。きっと君の力になる。
I will be killed in June of 1983.
あれから5年、体も鍛えた。あの時のような無様、きっと君の力になれる。
I feel like I rolled a 6 without even throwing the die. Akasaka followed Oishi and ran outside into the bright sunlight.
羽生、これも想定。今回はいろんな運命が。思えばおもちゃ屋での部活、魚釣りゲームという運命を覆した瞬間から私の戦おうという意志の強まりが運命を揺るがしているということ。
My strong will is going to change my fate. If I have a strong will, I can also change these results. Oh, I'm so invested. We rode our bikes back home together. I was in a good mood. I almost felt like humming a song. I could feel my deadly fate slowly falling to pieces. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Like, things are looking good, but let's not get lax about it, alright? Let's not just assume things are gonna, like, everything's gonna go great and, like, there's gonna be no worries, alright? I felt like my fate was urging me to move on. Just like the sun and the moon during an eclipse, the wheels of my fortune were perfectly matched for the first time in a long time. This really might have been a miracle. This wasn't like the true miracle of Keiichi remembering the past. It was good fortune within expectations, but when it was arranged like this, well, it was enough to be considered a miracle. I couldn't remember the last time I felt so good in June of 1983. My name is Rika Furude. My ominous fate was moving away from me. With each step I took, that deadly fate withdrew further and further. I'd have to stay strong and take advantage of this miracle. I moved forward at high speed. Watanagashi was so close. My luck and effort had brought about a miracle, and so, I will defeat my fate.
今度こそファイトオーなのですよ。
The next moment, something happened. Keiichi had accidentally scratched a motorcycle that was parked by the street. A group of 3 delinquents were trying to intimidate him.
大変なことになりました。見てなさい。今の私の力ならあんな連中困ります。大丈夫ですよ。僕にお任せなのです。リカ
I walked toward the delinquents, even as they grabbed Keiichi by his collar. The hell are these pathetic guys? They're trying to stand in my way when I'm trying to have a happy future. I should teach them that nothing can stop me now. I know I'm rolling a 6 without even throwing the die. They continued to grab Keiichi's shirt. Keiichi, Mion, and Reina were staring at them with vicious looks in their eyes. I got in between them.
消え失せろ、私の運命を。その程度で邪魔立てできると夢にも思うな。
I plucked his nose with my fingers again. He never expected that a little girl like me would attack him. He seemed surprised, but he quickly returned to being angry. Then he picks me up by my collar, too.
リカ、やめなさいよ、話しなさい。リカ、何か策で。別にないわよ。
Nope. I see what she's going for, though. She's like, I just have this strong will that things are going to go my way. Alright, I'm willing it to be that things are going to go my way. So I'm just going to fucking do shit. Because you know what? Things are going to go my way.
でも、今の私の強さ、この程度の運命にも勝てない運気なら、今回も死の運命になど打ち勝てるものか。
I rolled the die, knowing what I was going to get. I knew that I'd be rolling a 6. The next moment, 2 men in working overalls came up to the 3 delinquents and tapped them on the shoulder.
兄ちゃん、相手は子供やんね。
俺たちは喧嘩を売られたんだぞ。お前らなんざ用はねえよ。
Those working men weren't just random people who were passing by. I knew who they were.
まあ、そっちで話そうやんね。ほら。
One of the men pushed the 3 delinquents to the side of the street. The other man spoke to me in a calm
大丈夫
voice.
ですか、リカさん。
ありがとうなのですよ。
Is that part of like the security
助
detail?
かりましたです。
He let me his hand so I could stand up.
皆さんはもうあとは私たちが処理します。
どなたか知りませんが、ありがとうございます。
本当にお任せしちゃっ。
ええ、気にしないで。皆さんは早く行ってください。
本当にありがとうございます。
うちの圭一さんが無様で申し訳ありませんわね。
じゃあ行こうみんな。
We got back on our bikes in a hurry and left the scene. They had no idea who saved us, but we're glad that all of us were safe. But I knew who they were. Those must have been the security guards who worked for Takano. Takano kept her promise. Those guys are professional bodyguards. They only do what they're ordered to, but they make sure their mission is complete. If Takano told them to protect me, that's the best protection I can get. After we left the scene, a white van with 2 men in it followed us. Everything was working in my favor for the first time ever. The pedals seemed so light that day. Felt like I could fly into the sky if I wanted to. Okay. Before the flight. Oh? Rina?
これが航空券だ。遅れんなよ。後の金は現地だ。
ああ、気にお気に。おい、マミャン。
私札幌って一
北条の野郎にゃ気取られてねえだろうな。
度大丈夫だよ。あいつバカだもん。でかいのは声と態度だけ。
そうなのかよ。
The next moment, there are several cars coming toward them. The man looked out the window and saw 3 black cars screeching to a halt by the apartment building. Several intimidating men emerged from those cars. Some of them even looked up toward the window. He quickly hid himself behind the curtain.
ちくしょ、鍵つけやがった。ずらかれ。
ちょっと嘘マジ？なんで今日
マミアン、ボケっとすな。捕まったら殺されんぞ。
They're the men running up the stairs. They sounded angry. Okay. I don't know if that's... Okay, well, does that lend to what we see at the beginning of chapter 3 then? Where we find who I can only assume who is Rina. The dead woman in the ditch, right? And we're like, hey, yo, who did this? Interesting, interesting. So Rina was so in this world where Rina doesn't get involved with Reina's father, she tries to fuck over Tepe, and he gets his lick back from what I see. It was a very humid day. Not even a slight breeze was blowing. It had been an unpleasant summer, one that wasn't only hot, but swelteringly so. There were various articles of clothing hung out to dry in the messy apartment windows, but the lack of wind evoked an impression far removed from coolness. In fact, it only felt more impressive. There were crooked houses and apartments lining the narrow, twisting road. In addition, there were planters and flower pots whose contents were beginning to rot, as well as bicycles and cars on the sides of the road, making it even more cramped and more oppressive, and all the more sweltering. Nobody who was in this place at this time was visiting it voluntarily. But in spite of what everyone might expect, a single motorcycle came rolling in. The motorcycle stopped in front of a 2-story apartment, one that could hardly be called neat, even as flattery. A man, fairly old and wrinkled, stepped off. When a nearby neighbor hanging out the laundry noticed him, she called out,
こんにちは。今日も暑いこって。
ちゃあ、暑いね。
Yep, okay. And that is the beginning of chapter 3. The landlord shows up and they're like,
こんな暑いとうだっちまってかなわねえ。
yeah, and then, yeah, phased away. It's like, you know what happens next. Suddenly I got goosebumps all over my body. I felt like something bad was about to happen for no reason. Everyone gets this feeling in a different way. Some people get a twitch in their eyelids, or some kind of movement in their ears. In my case, I get goosebumps. Satoko was supposed to be cooking dinner tonight. We didn't have much inside the refrigerator, so I asked her to go grocery shopping. Oh. Right, because if this is the world, the story in which Tepe comes back to the village, right? Which, the one in which Rina ends up dead in a ditch is that world, right? Then if Satoko's out on her own and suddenly doesn't come home, yeah. I was just watching TV and relaxing while I waited for her. She was usually back by the time my cartoon was over, after which she'd start cooking dinner. But my cartoon was over, the news had started, and Satoko wasn't home yet. Satoko sometimes waited until they had a sale at the store. In that case, she'd usually come home late. That must be what was happening. It was too early for me to start worrying about her. But, I can't explain this feeling. I can't explain it, but I feel extremely worried. Once I started feeling like that, I couldn't just sit in the room and wait for her.
Hanyu,
I thought she might know where Satoko might be, but she's never around when I need her. Hanyu is now with me 24 hours a day. She sometimes falls asleep and sometimes she goes out for walks. Though in her case, it's not a walk, but more like a stalk. She follows people around when she finds someone interesting, and she enjoys observing them. Anyway, I had no choice. I'd have to find Satoko on my own. I had a good idea of which stores Satoko goes to. I should check those first. We're in Hinamizawa. If I ask people, they tell me where she went.
あれ、ありがたや。
ニパ、それより今日、さとこが買い物に来なかったですか？
さとこちゃんの顔は見て、私がずっとお店番してたから、来れば見てるんだけどね。
I didn't even have time to say thanks. I ran to the next store. People were greeting me and waving at me. I'd usually smile and greet them back, but I had no time for that at the moment. Satoko, Satoko, Satoko. I need Satoko in my life. I was able to survive for so long because of her support. Without her, this world would be so empty and boring. Satoko's nonchalant and optimistic, unlike me. I've learned so many things from her over the past 100 years. I still need to learn more from her. Aww.
Satoko! Satoko!
People stared at me as I ran by them, screaming out her name. I didn't care what they thought, though. Satoko, Satoko, Satoko. Why are they looking at me like that? I'm looking for Satoko. Somebody tell me where she is. My heart was convulsing inside my body like a fish out of water. What little stamina I have. I hate my body for being so young. I went to a few different places, but I still couldn't find her anywhere. People I talked to gave me advice on where to go, but I couldn't find her in any of the places they suggested. I continued to run looking for her. I continued to run, even when I bumped into people.
さあ、どうだろう。夕方は人がたくさん来るから覚えちゃいないかもしらん。
There are only a few places in Hinamizawa where we can go grocery shopping. It shouldn't be that difficult to find her, so why couldn't I? I tripped on something in the street and fell flat on the ground. I injured my hand on a small rock embedded in the ground. Didn't feel much pain, even though I said ouch. It just felt hot, as if I had touched a frying pan. Suddenly someone handed me a pretty handkerchief.
大丈夫？怪我とかしなかった？レナ、さとこを見なかったですか？
Reina was carrying a grocery bag. I've heard that Satoko bumps into Reina often when she goes grocery shopping. They tend to choose the same stores.
さとこちゃんは？さとこちゃんがお買い物の…そうです。会っていませんですか？わからないな。今日がさとこちゃんのお買い物の日なら、絶対にスーパーひなみざわの特売日を逃さないと思うもん。でも、レナもスーパーにいたけど、会わなかったし。
My brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. It took me a while to understand what Reina was talking about. I understand that Reina didn't see Satoko, but that wasn't the point. They had a huge sale in the market today. There was no way that Satoko would miss that sale, but she still didn't see her there. What was that supposed to mean?
何かあったの？さとこちゃん。
I couldn't find the right words to explain. Should I tell her I feared something bad happened to Satoko and that's why I was looking for her? Yes! Be honest with your homies. We've learned this. We've had this lesson taught to us already, Erika. We've already seen the change it's made for Reina. We've got to be honest with people. You saw what being honest did when you were, like, kind to Takuno and Tomitake and opened up to them and whatnot. Sure, they're not like 100% like, oh yeah, we believe you totally, absolutely, but like, they took you seriously enough to where like, they heeded your request, right, for more security. You gotta be honest, be honest. No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't think too deeply about why she hadn't returned home. No! God damn it! Be honest with them. Usually she returns home by now. But she hasn't returned home yet. Be honest. Talk to your friends.
どうしたの？困ってるなら力になるよ。
Yes. Turn to your friends for help. Even if they can't help you immediately. You can trust your friends with your problems. Especially Reina. She's learned the lesson. She knows.
話して。
Talk to her. I knew she was just trying to help me. Then let her. I even thought I needed someone to help me just a few moments before. Now that she was here, I had no idea what I was supposed to say. No, that's not it. The truth is, I know. Somehow, I know. I wouldn't have to know if I was someone else, but I have to know this. Rika Furude has to know what's going on. I know it. I remember it. I knew this was coming. I've experienced a world before where Satoko suddenly disappeared. But the possibility for that happening is as low as Akasaka showing up in Inamizawa. It only happened randomly in my other lives. This is not the first time. It happened before, too. I should see it for myself. I need to see if I'd gotten stuck inside a devastating world again. But you have the strong will. God damn it, trust your fucking friends. Trust your friends.
力になるから話して。ごめんなさい。さよなら。あ、リカちゃん。
Oh, no. Like, yes, you've pieced together what's happening. I get that. And you want to confirm it. But, like, fuck, that was like the whole point of what we learned in the last chapter. Putting your trust into your friends is like the most important thing you could do. Being open and honest about the problems you're facing. Even if they can't directly help you, you can at least having someone to talk to. I understand you're this 100-year-old being who's gone through this cycle so many times, but come on. I couldn't pretend like I didn't know where she was. Please don't tell me that I was blessed only up to this point. I'm about to fall back into my unfortunate fate from here on. God damn, what happened to that strong will? Your strong will is gonna change the fate, right? Sure, you might be facing some obstacles here, but gotta keep that strong will if you want to change fate. I thought this world was different, that I could move on to a happy future. See, that's what I'm saying. You were getting complacent. You were just expecting good things to happen without putting in the effort. Like, nah, you gotta fucking put in the moves to make sure it happens. The world's not just gonna hand you the happy future, you gotta take it. You gotta take it. Right? You have to break the cycle. Meaning you have to alter what's going on. The cycle is not just gonna hand you something you want. It's a fucking cycle. It's gonna go through the same motion. To break the cycle, you have to intervene with what is happening. You gotta put in the effort. That's the problem. I knew that was gonna happen. She was gonna get complacent. Just expecting good things. Like, yeah, no, everything's going my way. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, no, everything's turned out me. It's all good. I thought I'd be able to defeat my deadly fate in this life. And you still can. You still can. But you have to do it. The universe isn't gonna defeat your fate for you. You have to do it. But this was just horrible. It was horrible that this was happening to this world. I was standing in front of the place that I hate the most in Yamizawa. Yes, it's Satoko's real home, the Hojo residence. I'd been living with her since last fall, so this house was empty. In the beginning, she used to come back here. Oh, excuse me. In the beginning, she used to come back here to pick up her clothing and other necessities. But when she moved most of her stuff to my house, Satoko stayed away from this place. This was a sad place for Satoko, because all she could remember of it was the horrible time she spent with her uncle and aunt, and the memory of her missing brother, Satoshi. That's why she never wanted to come back here. That wasn't the reason I hate this house. It's because I know what happens whenever this house becomes an issue in my life. Oh God. Please. Please bless me with just one more fortune. I closed my eyes and prayed. Then I slowly opened them. The window was open on the second floor. I saw a faded curtain swinging inside. As soon as I saw that, my knees realized what was going on, even before my mind processed it. In the next moment, I lost strength in my legs and collapsed on the ground. I saw an unfamiliar motorcycle parked by the house. I also saw laundry and a futon hanging outside. I was certain that someone was living here. It was proof that someone was living inside this house. It's never good when there's someone living inside this house. This was very, very bad. I knew exactly why. I knew why, but I felt like I wanted to act like I didn't know.
リカサト
Satoko went outside to take the futon and noticed me.
コリカ
Satoko looked down and forced herself to smile. I felt so sad. It wasn't just her expression. I could tell that her left cheek was red and swollen.
サトコ
I took
こ
her
んなと
hand,
こにいないでお家へ帰りましょうです。
but she still looked down without squeezing back.
私今日からと私のおじさんが帰ってきましたの。それでこっちの家で一緒に暮らそうって話に。サトコは意地悪なおじさんなんかと一緒。でもどうしようもありま。リカの家へ帰っても連れ戻さ。リカに迷惑がかかってしまいますわ。
She gave up with a sad smile. She looks exactly how she looked 1 year ago, in 1982. Her uncle only slapped her face, and she's back to being the Satoko from 1982. The cheerful Satoko that I knew until yesterday could no longer be found. I took care of Satoko and tried to heal her wounded heart for over a year. She finally got her smile back, but her uncle took it all away with just one slap to her face. A broken soul can recover over time, but her damaged heart can never be fixed completely. I just took the broken pieces and put them back together. The cracks in her heart will always be there. That's why she wouldn't come with me, no matter how hard I tried to pull her hand. She couldn't get over the fear. She knew just how scary her uncle could be.
さとこ、なんねほった、どこ行きよんね。
I heard a disgusting voice from inside the house. Satoko stared at the ground. Her shoulders were shaking.
なんじゃよ、それは。
He came out and stood right behind her.
お友達と会っただけですのよ。
したらん、それよか風呂け。わしは風呂に入りたいしちゃったな、こら。
Satoko scampered back inside the house like a terrified small animal. I feel devastated as I watch her go.
遊びの約束だ。すまんの。わしはさとこ、ちょっと長いこと出張に。ようやくひなみ沢に戻ってきたわけなんよ。
Liar. He only showed back up because his lover went missing. In another world, I once let my hatred out on him. But then he inflicted that anger in equal turn on Satoko. So I couldn't allow the dark flame burning within my chest to reflect in my eyes. So I couldn't make myself smile and I couldn't insult him. All I could do was give him a short bow and run away from the scene.
なんね。
I heard his hideous laughter from behind me. I cried as I ran away. I couldn't stop crying. I thought this was a perfect world up until today. Why was God doing this to me? It was too cruel. But I couldn't give up yet. There we go. I couldn't do anything. But I still had hope for this world, yes? I didn't think the luck I had until yesterday was just a random thing. I went back to my house in a hurry. I needed to make a phone call. I didn't know the number because it was my first time calling the place. I looked inside the phone book and found it easily. I made a call to that number.
これはフルデさんからお電話をいただけるなんて思いま。何かございました？
I already knew that Oishi could never save Satoko, based on what I've seen in my previous lives. For him, Satoko is only a good way to get at the Sonozaki family. Her uncle is probably his prey in that regard too. Even if I talked to him about her situation, he would do nothing to save her. The only thing he'd tell me would be to call the Child Consultation Center.
大石赤坂
さん。温泉行ってますよ。和倉温泉。
Wakara? That's not anywhere near here. I thought he was staying here until Watanagashi.
なんでも温泉宿をやってるし。いや。え？和倉ですか？石川県ですよ。能登半島の。
No way. He told me that he was staying here until Watanagashi. They meant he was staying in Hinamizawa. But did he actually mean this area of the country in general?
赤坂と連絡は取れませんですか？
That was a meaningless question. There's no way I could get him to come here while he's enjoying his trip with his wife. Even if I can talk to him on the phone, he'll probably only tell me to call the Child Consultation Center or something.
ものすごい高級旅館だって言って。まあ最近の宿はガードが硬いから。
わかりましても赤坂は。
そうです。こちらへは能登への行きと。だから先日も一泊されてくつろがれた。だから渡流しの直前にあなたにお土産を買ってくると言ってましたよ。
How terrible. I thought it was too good to be true. I knew it was kind of strange for him to stay in a boring place like this. My luck seems to be turning. This might not be a surprise, though. Just like I can roll a 6 3 times in a row, I can roll a 1 3 times in a row, too. Happy things and unhappy things can happen with equal probability.
もしもし、何か伝言があるなら会った時に伝えておきますよ。
I looked at the calendar on the wall. I didn't know when he was coming back, but I was certain he wouldn't be for at least one more week. I thought back to the past and tried to remember what happened. That guy will break Satoko apart in 1 week. I couldn't wait for that long. Talk to your friends. Talk to your friends. We've learned this lesson. Talk to your friends. Talk to people. Like, obviously, I definitely understand why you don't want to talk to Oishi, right? Oishi, has his own delusions that he's dealing with that makes, confiding in him a very dangerous game to play. But if there's one fucking thing we've learned specifically from that last chapter is don't try to handle things all on your own. Fuck, that should be a message we kind of pick up from every chapter, right? If people had actually... Honestly, yeah, no, if you think about it, every chapter is kind of that. If people had actually, relied more on their friends when they were going through difficult times, they could have avoided the tragedies that happened. That's like the biggest lesson across all these fucking stories. When you try to shoulder everything on your own without relying on anyone, you only end up hurting yourself in the end. Talk to your friends, damn it, Rika. You talk about how much you want to see your friends healthy and happy and whatnot, and how much you genuinely care about them, and how, the ending could never be perfect if all your friends don't make it out as well. And obviously she cares a lot about Satoko, I get that, but like, you gotta trust other people you claim to care about. You gotta put some trust in them. I had to give up on seeking help from Akasaka. Well, that's okay. I still had one more option. One more person I could rely on. You have several people you can rely on. Talk to them.
いえ、ありがとうですよ、ニパー。
Oh, not the sad Nipa. Oh, that's heartbreaking. I hung up the phone after thanking him. I couldn't make a phone call to the next person. I'd have to talk to him in person. Him. Irie? Put my shoes on and head to the Irie clinic, yep. The clinic's hours were over for the day. There's usually no one here after that. However, since Tomitake was here, they should still be inside the building for a meeting. They had to be there. The front door of the clinic was locked as I expected. I went around to the back door and rang the bell. The whole clinic is nervous when Tomitake is around. They usually ignore visitors. But I'm special.
どうしましたか？緊急の要件と。
私まで用とあっては穏やかな話ではなさそうね。
Hide and Takano showed up soon after I was taken to the visitor's room. If Rika Hurure has an emergency, then it's a priority for these two people. I'm the most important person in this village.
ひょっとして誰かに狙われているという。
あなたの近辺は常時あなたとあの日した約束。
I had no doubt about that. They saved me right away when we had that confrontation with those 3 delinquents the other day.
いえ、実は、サトコのき。
サトコちゃんに何かあったんですか？
Irie doesn't have that much power alone, even if he really wants to save her. But Takano controls the mountain dogs, so she does have that power. In my previous lives, I was never able to get help from the mountain dogs because I wasn't on good terms with Takano. But this world is different. I have a better relationship with her in this life. She even kept the promise she made. I trust their ability completely now.
あの北条哲平さんがですか？なんてことでしょう。
It was mainly Satoko's aunt who was abusing her last year. Irie knows that her uncle was violent with her too. I told them that Satoko had gone back to the same condition she was in the previous year.
このままでは、サトコを助け出すために力を貸してほしいのです。
Irie seemed to want to do something for her, but he didn't know exactly what to do.
こういうのはやはり警察に相談。
さて、現時点では親権者が現れ、サトコちゃんが大怪我で、そういうわけではない。
そんなのは、このままでは大変なことになってしまうのです。
I hate to say that's only a matter of time. I knew how she was going to get abused and how she was going to end up. I've seen it in the past. I really wanted to tell them about it, But I couldn't do that, as it hasn't happened in this world yet. They just think I was imagining it. But that's also the thing, right? Yo, like I kind of pointed out at the beginning of this chapter when we were like, yo, floating through the sea and whatnot before we actually snap to in the in this world that we're in now. They said like a constant in all these chapters is that someone at some point loses their mind to delirium. And I kind of suspected that Satoko was the one in chapter 3 because they only pointed out Keiichi, Shion, and Reina. But if it's something common across all the stories, then it would have to apply to chapter 3 as well. And you could argue that technically it was Keiichi in chapter 3. But well, no, actually, if Teppei really was killed, right? And Satoko was just hallucinating the fact he was there, you probably was Keiichi then, but still, you've kind of seen like the other 3 members of the club like overcome the hardships they faced, right? Keiichi doesn't hold any distrust of the club members or the villagers. He feels welcomed within the community, right? Shion doesn't harbor a grudge against Satoko, which honestly, maybe that'll come into play. But, you know, Shion no longer harbors this grudge against Satoko. She's overcome that. She's working to try to establish a strong bond with Satoko to make sure Satoko lives a better life, right? Trying to carry on the last wish that Satoshi entrusted to her and whatnot. We've seen Reina overcome, the issues her father had with Rina and help get her father back on track. She opens up to her friends, right? She doesn't harbor any distrust towards her friends, or she's not scared to put her trust into her friends. So we've seen Reina overcome her problems, right? So really the only one we haven't seen yet, like truly overcome their obstacles, is Satoko, right? So I'm kind of suspecting that's where the story is going to take us, right? Yeah, we're seeing the events of chapter 3 happen again with, Teppei returning to the village and whatnot and taking Satoko back into the house. But I don't suspect we're gonna there'll probably be some rough moments, but I don't suspect we'll have an unhappy ending out of it. Because that's the thing. That's the thing. We keep seeing, like, if fate is truly changing, we unfortunately have to see this moment play out to see that Satoko's fate truly can be changed, right? That fate truly is changing. I know, I see the vision.
そういえば、さとこちゃんがちゃんと話を聞いてくれるといいのですが。
The answer is no. My friends contacted the Child Consultation Center several times in the past. Satoko always refuses their help. She claims that she isn't being abused. The Satoko from 1983 might have asked for their help, but currently she was the Satoko from 1982. For her, living with her uncle reminds her of the time when Satoshi was around. She feels like Satoshi will come back if she can live strongly, without always relying on her brother. Even if the Child Consultation Center were to take the case seriously, it's just too late. I tried to remember. In the most recent world I experienced, it only took a few days after Satoko was kidnapped by her uncle. It only took a few days for him to tear her heart apart. We had no time to waste. We needed to take action quickly.
さとこちゃん自身が
入江先生の方から警察やお役所に気の毒とは思う。違
うので高野の力で聡子を助け出してほしいのです。
See, that's the thing. You can't just... Rika's the one that... I'm guessing that's the thing. Rika's the one that, from what I can tell, is the one that's actually protected by the government and whatnot. Satoko is useful in their research, but Rika is like the main one they truly care about and they're actually willing to expend resources on. Satoko not so much. Hide and Takano look shocked and both went quiet. They expect me to seek help from Takano.
僕はそうで でなければ。
お気持ちはですが。
入江、さとこを助け、さとこは、あとな、それは、もうしばらく様子を見てみようでは、入江は、去年のさとこを、もう忘れてしまったのですか？もうそうなっているのです。そして、あと数日で、取り返しのつかないことになってしまうのです。
All I could do was stare at him. Believing that Irie could see the future only I knew, the tragic end awaiting Satoko reflected in my eyes. Irie remained silent for too long, a time to call brief. Someone trying to think of some excuse to avoid the issue wouldn't go silent that long. He was recalling Satoko's terrible state last year, and seriously considering if my plea was as urgent as I made it out to be. I knew that he really cared about her. That's why I need his help.
どうしようかしらね。
Irie nodded and looked up. I guess he finally came to a conclusion. I just hope it's a positive one.
高野さん、リカちゃんの頼みを。去年、さとこちゃんに、これは、その時傍観して手を尽くさなかった。
しかし、そうはおっしゃいますけれど。
Takano didn't think that Irie would make that decision. She seemed shocked to hear his response.
当施設の責任者として、さとこちゃんを、どうか。
入江先生、どうか落ち着いてください。
さとこちゃんはこれまでもそしてこれからも本件は高野さんの職務に含まれるものとお察しします。
Irie continued, though Takano tried to persuade him.
所長、入江京介として高野さん、どうかさとこちゃんを救ってください。
I stared into Takano's eyes together with him.
高野も、どうか、さとこの友人として助けてあげてくださいです。
助けてください。という言い方が。お二人、さとこちゃんをさらって、さとこちゃんに、これまでと同じ、それはつまり、おじの方。
卑怯な言い方をすれば、でもそれが卑怯ならば。
入江先生、いえ、入江所長、そのご命令を実行すれば、私は無論、そして入江所長も責任を問われることになりますが、その覚悟は終わりですか？
I looked at his face. Unlike me, Irie has many things to lose. I knew that Takano's words would shake him emotionally. However, Irie was determined.
申し開きをする場へ引き出されても、自身の心。
左門がどういうものかもご存じないのに、大した虚勢。
高野さんが上手にやってくだされば、それで。
リスクばかりで見返りのない仕事。
高野がもう見せるのを意地悪だから、今回だけ助けてほしいのです。
The risk she's taking is larger than the reward I'm offering. That's about the only thing I can offer her. I don't care about the traditions of the Hurure Shrine as long as I can save my friend from her suffering.
わかりまし。これじゃ、私が悪者みたいだものね。
She forced a smile and accepted the favor I asked her for.
ありがとう、高野さん。
どういう風に助けるか、具体的なプランは、後でおこのぎと相談します。
Okonogi.
後ではダメです。今でないとダメなのです。
She promised to save Satoko, but she still wasn't motivated for it. It'd be too late if she didn't do something right now. I tried to make Takano understand that this is an urgent matter.
そうです。リカちゃんも、そしてこんな時間にせかして申し訳ありませんが。
二人とも、さとこちゃんのこととなると目の少し待たせるかもしれませんが、お待ちください。
Interesting, interesting. That's the thing, even if they do carry it out and whatnot, they take out Tepe. I'm very curious how this then ends, because that's the thing, if the upper brass, right, sees it as an abuse of power or whatnot, like, could that potentially spell ill for Takano and Tomitake? Technically, Irie is the one who should be held responsible because he had a hand in it, but also Tomitake is, from what I could tell, he's like the representative from Tokyo who's keeping an eye on things, and like, if something happens where they're like, you should have been able to handle this, you should have put your foot down and stopped this, like, he could potentially be held responsible for things that go down as well. And that's the thing, if Takano and Tomitake end up dying as a result of their actions, I could totally see why Irie then might take his own life, because he feels so responsible that, these two died as a result of his, actions.
無理を聞いて。
いいえ、私の給与さ笑顔でお引き受けいたします。リカちゃんはさっきの約束。
きっとなので、神社に来た時はおまんじゅうとお茶もつけますのです。
Takano smiled slightly and left the room. Once we finally heard her footsteps fade away, the tension in the room dissolved. Ide offered me something to drink, but I refused. He must have thought everything was taken care of, but I couldn't relax until Satoko was physically returned to me.
いりえ、聡子ですが、おじは聡子が逃げ出すと思って家から出さないと思いますから、もうここ。
幸いなことに先週まとめてですので、しばらくはただ強い精神負担は少しずつ追い詰められ。
そのいつかというのはほんの数日後の話なのです。
Takano hadn't come back yet. I thought it would be bad news if she came back too early, but I started feeling nervous after she had taken so long. Ide insisted that I go home because it was getting very late. I couldn't go home and relax, however, until I heard from her that everything was taken care of. I had to wait for her to come back. I needed to deal with this tension until then. Over an hour later, Takano finally returned.
お待たせ。
ああ、いかがでした？
She was looking for the right words. I got a very bad feeling from her reaction alone.
残念だけど簡単にいかなくなったわ。
どうして？
つい最近沖宮で殺人事件が、その事件に何らかの関与があると疑って北条哲平を警察がマークしてるらしいわね。
事件？何ですかそれは？
間宮とかいう女が園崎家の上納金に手を出して見せしめに殺されたとかなんとかで、警察が北条家と園崎家の関係に慎重になったらしいのよ。
No. Fuck. Of course, that's what they want to believe. Like, she probably did fuck over that hostess club she works for, right? But also, in turn, she fucked over Tepe. And that, like, I'm 100% sure it's Tepe that did that to her. And he went to Yanamizawa to hide away from it. Because that's the thing we saw in the tip scene, right? Is like the people she was trying to, that were like helping her to fucking run away and fly out to Sapporo. They were like, yo, you know Tepe will be furious if he finds out. Like, he'll fucking kill you. She's like, ah, he's stupid. He'll never find out.
その女はどうも綿流しも近いしね。お社様のたたりの5年目をなんとか阻止したい警察が、北条哲平が今年の犠牲者じゃないかと
釣り糸って？
北条哲平をマークしてれば、お社様のたたりの真犯人を釣り上げられ。
なんでは。
リカちゃん、警察のマークが外れるまで山犬には。
山犬の方ならもっと困難な任務でもこなせるでしょうに。
それは入念な準備と計画に基づき、通常は長い監視期間を設け、同等の任務なら半年から1年をかけ。今更言うことではありませんが、日の元へ出たならば、だからマークされ。
ではいつも
最も早くて多分綿流しが終われば警察もマークを解くかもしれない。
That would be too late. She's saying it'd be after Watanagashi. I didn't even know if it was a day or after a day after or a year after. She also said it usually takes at least 6 months to prepare this kind of mission. That's too long. I thought this world was different. It can be. It can be. You just have to keep. But that hope was slipping through my fingers.
ではどうする？
日の当たる世界で、例えば学校へ相談する。
それは何度もやったけど無駄だった。
Ide and Takano were surprised. They never expected me to raise my voice. In fact, I didn't think myself that I would react this way. But I couldn't keep my emotions in check after Takano suggested all those meaningless solutions.
私はお前たちに何の見返りも求めず、それなのにあれだけの力を持ちながら何の力にもならん。そして利用するだけ。もういい。この世界が袋小もうお前たちには興味ない。そうさ。お前は山奥で焼かれて死ね。お前は。そして私はどういう殺され方をするの。ここは運命の袋小路。行き止まり。
Rika! God damn it!
私は生まれた時から殺されるために生かされている運命の家畜。みんな死ね死ね。どうせ終わる世界なん。
Can't put words to my emotions anymore, and I started to cry. I was so lucky up until yesterday. See, that's the thing. That's the thing I keep coming back to. Is like, you had to know that the universe wasn't just gonna give you what you wanted. That's the whole point of breaking the cycle. The cycle is what it's always going to be. It's never gonna give you what you want. You have to step in, and you have to change things. You just thought because you chose not to play the fishing game that, like, bro, I just threw the cycle off that one decision. Yeah. I got it all unlocked. Everything's taken care of. Don't worry, fellas. I didn't play the fishing game. Yeah, no. We're good. Like, see, you made that conscious effort to befriend Takano. You made that conscious effort to welcome her in and make her feel more comfortable around you. So when you made a request that things would go your way, right? You planned that out. So now you're acting desperately because, like, it's something that's really hitting close to home, right? But you gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep it pushing. Yes, things are rough and, like, it looks like things are gonna play out the same way. That's why you gotta keep fighting back. Just like you thought things would play out the same way at the toy store, you gotta keep fighting back. You gotta fight for any small change you can. You're not out of options, even if it looks like it won't help, right? You gotta try. You gotta see, that's the thing. You gotta look at how Reina overcame her issues, right? She didn't think that in the previous world, she didn't think that talking to Mion would help. She thought like it would be nothing but a waste of time. But look at where it got her when she did try, right? You've seen the other three. You've seen the other three overcome their hardships, right? Now the cycle is presenting you with another hardship. You gotta overcome it and not just bow down to it. I had so much hope in my heart, but it had all been for nothing. I felt like everything was falling apart. I've lived for more than 100 years. I've lived longer than a normal human lifetime. Thought I was blessed with good fortune for the first time in my life, and you were. You were blessed with good fortune, but you have to do something with it. You can't just think it's gonna carry you. That's the problem. You got a dose of hopium, and then you're like, that's all I need then. But without putting in any effort, you thought that would be enough to break the cycle. This would never happen to me again. I thought a miracle had occurred, but everything was shattered. Well, it is a miracle. You just have to take advantage of it. You have been gifted a miracle, or you have the potential to make a miracle happen, but you have to put in the effort. I cried and cursed this world. I need to give up on my life as soon as possible. Satoko would be waiting for me with a smile in my next one. No, I wanted to go see her. But what would happen to the Satoko in this world? What would happen if I abandoned her? I didn't know. I didn't care. No, Rika! Satoko. I'm a witch who has lived for 100 years, but I still couldn't rid myself of the human emotions in my heart. I didn't get anything to eat because Satoko was supposed to be making dinner tonight. But I didn't have an appetite anyway, so I figured I should just go to bed. Still to make lunch for the next day, though. Satoko might come to school tomorrow. I rinsed the rice, hoping that I wouldn't have to waste the lunch that I was making for the two of us. I had to stop thinking like that. I already knew it was ways to make her lunch. No! No! God damn it! Fuck, this sucks to see because like the moment they throw like an obstacle in her way, yes, it's probably like the biggest obstacle you could have thrown Rika's way, right? Is, Teppei returning and taking Satoko from her. I get that. But like the moment you throw one obstacle in her way, she's like, well, guess that's the end then. Guess I'm fucked. All these other positive changes that we've seen play out so that things are that guarantee these other stories we're not going to follow the same path as these other stories, right? All these other things that fall into place so well. Fuck that. I faced an obstacle. We're fucked. Like, all this talk of your strong will, right? All this talk about your strong will. You got the strong will. It's going to change the course. The moment a challenge is thrown in front of you, you're like, what will? I don't have any will. Fuck that. Like, it almost kind of pisses me off. Like, I get it. It's part of, like, there's no, like, real story without any conflict, right? But it's like, God. I already knew that Satoko wasn't coming to school ever again. I felt so miserable while renting the rides. See, that's the thing. Once you get, see, that's the thing. You're so focused on yourself and how it's affecting you, right? You gotta open up to people. Not just Takano, who has control over this, like, fucking spec ops group, apparently. Not just, you know, you turn to the government, because the government can get away with killing people, right? We gotta turn to the government. You gotta open up to people. You gotta open up. It's the whole point of everything we fucking learned this far, is not to keep things secret. Obviously, you don't tell people that you're someone who's been reincarnated 100 times over, or has, not necessarily that, but has been living for over 100 years, who have seen all these events play out and whatnot. Obviously, you don't hit them with that, but like to open up about what's happening to Satoko, about how it's making you feel and whatnot, about searching for a solution, about and talking to people, especially Keiichi, about the things that have worked in the past and what haven't, you know, like being open and honest. That's what it's all about. Tears started dropping into it as soon as I thought about her. Why was this happening in this world? I thought everything changed when Keiichi gave that doll to Mio, and see, that you thought that one thing was enough, but you gotta keep going. In that world, Mio pretended to be her sister for a week and got closer to Keiichi. But that wasn't happening this time. I thought we'd be having a good time until the festival. Huh? That's odd. Wasn't that club activity 2 weeks before Watanagashi? I had realized something. Club activity was exactly the same, but it happened 1 week earlier than the world I knew of. It was 1 week earlier than in my previous life. I get it now. I thought I was familiar with this world, but it was actually a different one where events are mixed up. That means even though Keiichi gave the doll to Mio, that didn't solve everything. I thought I was getting lucky. You were. It's a different world that's still going to present you with problems. You are lucky. You just have to take advantage of that luck and try your damnedest. Not give up at the first sign of an issue. I was confident that everything was going to be okay. I stopped making an effort. See, there you go. You stopped making an effort. I knew that there was a possibility that Satoko's uncle was coming back, but I let her go do the grocery shopping. I would have been more careful and kept her home if I knew that he was coming back to get her. I should be careful in my next life. God damn it, no! Fuck this next life talk! We slipped, but we keep pushing, god damn it. But there wouldn't be a next life that was so fortunate. I didn't get lucky that often, exactly. Even if I locked Satoko inside the closet, it would be over if Reina's father messed up something, or if Keiichi lost his mind. I have to clear up everything that's not within my reach, and I also have to make the best effort I can. There we go. Yes, bring it back. Without that, I can't overcome the fate of 1983. In this life, I may be able to overcome my deadly fate with Takano's help, but Satoko will not be there in my future. That defeats the whole purpose. My goal is to survive this year while laughing with my best friends. I don't want to sacrifice Satoko in order to survive. I don't want to live in a world without her. I was blessed with all those misfortunes, but I still couldn't defeat my destiny. Not with this fucking attitude, goddammit. I ruined everything because I stopped working so hard. Then start working again. You've already, see, that's the thing, you've given up on Satoko. You've given up on her. You have all these things in place to where you can hopefully defeat these rules in place for this cycle, right? You have all these things going well for you, right? Takano has trust in you, right? Because Takano was always a suspicious figure, right? Because one of the fucking rules is Takano's involvement and whatnot. And then you have Keiichi and kind of the rest of the group kind of like building this relationship with Oishi outside of the deaths of Takano and Tomitake, right? Building some kind of something there, which is helping to defeat that rule that Oishi is always guaranteed to be this nefarious force, right? There's things in place. You've warned Takano and Tomitake of their demise. There's things in place. I get that you want all your friends happy in the end, but that's the thing. There's still hope. There's still hope. Yeah, Satoko's in a bad state right now, but you still have time. You still have time to turn around. Like you said, that event happened a week earlier, right? That event at the toy store happened a week earlier. But what that means is you have more time to turn it around. You have more time to make a difference. Yes, Akasaka fucked off, and he won't be back for a while, right? He won't be back to help with Satoko anyway, right? But there's still time to turn it around. There's still time to try to put in effort to turn things around. You have all these good things set up. You have this time to turn it around. I will never again have a lucky life like this. Exactly. I lost my first and only chance. You haven't lost yet. You haven't lost yet. You've already condemned Satoko. That's your problem. You've already given up on her. You got to fucking keep trying. I cried and scratched the floor. I didn't know if I should curse my fate or curse myself for not putting forth enough effort. I mean, honestly, it's kind of you at this point. Sure, you weren't putting in the effort up until this point, but you can start doing it again. You can start putting in the effort again. You think because you reached out to Takano that, like, that's all the effort you're doing? That's not enough effort. You gotta keep fucking pushing. Like, yes, I get it. If you're worried that if you talk to Keiichi about it, things might go the same way they did in Chapter 3. I get that. I definitely understand that fear. But fucking A. Fucking A. You've started... We've fucking ended the last story with the fucking lesson that we need to talk to our friends and open up to people about our problems. If anything, this is your mountain to climb. Right? This is your lesson to learn now. This is the time where you learn that lesson. Keiichi doesn't distrust his friends. Keiichi trusts the village. Shion cares about Satoko. It actually is taking to heart Satoshi's last words that he left for her and is making this effort to try to, be good to her. Reina turned her shit around. She talked to Mion. She actually talked to her father. She made a change. She avoided that disaster. This is your turn. Your turn to overcome your misgivings. You're so stuck in your head that, like, the moment adversity shows its face that you think you're fucked. You have to overcome your challenge now. It's not even, like, at the core of it is Satoko, but at this point, it's not even Satoko's challenge to overcome. You have to overcome your own mountain to help Satoko overcome hers, because you two are so closely linked like that. Like, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of fucking cinema for it to happen like that. For them to be so closely linked like that, that for Satoko to overcome her shit, Rika also has to overcome her own issues as well. Before I realized it, Hanyu was standing in front of me. Come on, Hanyu. Talk some sense into her, please. I didn't know how long she had been there. Please, my silly little goat, you gotta talk some sense into her. She just stared down at me with a look of pity on her face. Yes? Yes?
Hanyu, あんたの言いたいだから運命に期待するなと言った。
No.
でしょ。
Don't hit her with that, Hanyu. Hit her with the it's not over yet. Give her the fucking motivational speech. Don't be a downer this time.
期待するななんて、あれだけ全てに恵まれた、あれだけの勢いがある。それでも期待しすぎるなと。
She probably felt something strange at the toy store that day. She realized that the date was 1 week off and this was not the same old world that I knew. She had realized early on that I still shouldn't be too excited about this life.
僕もだからリカに聞かれ僕にも今日の運命などただ 僕この世の運命なんて秋の空より気まぐれで、一喜一憂するにも当たらない祭事に過ぎないということなのです。
There are 6 sides on a die. That's the reality of it. It doesn't mean that the 6 is the best number either. I should just take any number that I roll. I shouldn't be disappointed if I roll a 1 a few times in a row. It's pathetic how I thought rolling a 6 was the best result you could obtain.
100年超。でもリカ、僕も何度我慢強く待てばきっとまた巡ってくる世界なのです。
Fuck that waiting patiently shit.
我慢強く待てばって、それ
Yeah,
は
no,
何十年後。
Hanyu kinda fucked for that one. No, waiting patiently doesn't do shit. When you don't take the active effort to make the change, waiting gets you nowhere. The cycle will simply go and go and go. There will be no miracle if you don't fucking step in and do something. Come on.
何百年後の話。もう私たちには多分再び世界をやり直す。それどころかそんな短い日々を数年を繰り返す世界です。たった 1,2 週間の世界を無理よ。
I was betting on this world. I bet all of my coins on this one world. And I lost. It's not over yet. God damn it. I lost all of my coins to this fate. I have no more coins left in my heart. These coins are known as hope. I have no coins left to hope for my dreams to come true.
Rika.
Hanyu, come on. I know it. I lay on the floor as if collapsed. The floor should have been cold, but I didn't feel anything.
これが希望をすべて打ち砕かれるということね。
I always thought people could survive as long as they had some bread and water. But that's not right. People can't live without hope. People can survive because they believe that something good will happen to them eventually, as long as they keep on living. But that's just for normal people who don't know what awaits them in their future. There is no hope for a witch like me.
もうこの世界だけじゃない。このまま灰になってしまえたら。リカ。リカ。
Anyu's voice gradually fades away. I slowly lost my senses as I lay down on the kitchen floor and let myself sink into the darkness. God damn it. God damn it. Fucking pissing me off so much. You're pissing me off so much. I dragged my body to school hoping that Satoko might be there. But just as I expected, there was no one sitting in her seat. I felt all the more devastated just seeing it empty. I had nothing left to bet on. All I could do was get hurt and suffer devastation. Blood flowed from my broken heart and found its way through my eyes in the form of tears.
フルデさん、今日は北条さんはお休みですか?
The whole class was wondering why I came in late today and why Satoko wasn't with me. Even if I felt sympathy from everyone's eyes on me, I didn't feel any promise from them. No one here was able to save Satoko. No one. No one could save her. That's the thing. Sure, no one can save her. No one individually. Not even you individually. Fucking talk to your friends. You've seen how that helps. You've seen how that helps the other people who lose their minds to delirium in former lives when they open up to their friends, when they talk about things, when they fucking don't just keep everything bottled up inside of them. God damn it. I guess that's kind of why it irritates me so much, because if anyone should have seen all these lessons come into play, it's Rika. If anyone, I understand she's, really depressed right now because Satoko is the one person she cares the most about. I get that. I do. But fuck, if there's anything you should have picked up after all of this, is that just like, just keeping everything bottled up and just letting it happen, letting whatever happen is not the way to do it. Or trying to do things all on your own without turning to others is not the way to do it. You gotta be open, you gotta be honest, you gotta talk to people and not just Takano with her Spec Ops squad. That's the thing, you went to the Spec Ops squad, be like, kill him, take him out. But we already see what happens when you just kill him, right? We've already seen how that world looks. Where we just kill him. That's essentially what chapter 3 was. We just killed him. That's not the answer either. You gotta talk. You gotta talk. You gotta talk, Rika. I wish I have to keep smiling at all these useless people. This world is finished anyway. If I leave matters alone, then a few days after the Watanagashi festival, my movie reel will be cut as I'm murdered like usual. I'll return to the beginning of this month again. And so I'll continue to live forever in June 1983. Trapped here. Even death won't set me free from that prison.
フルデさん、北条さんは風邪でお休み。うるさいな。
The whole class gasped. No one expected Rika Furude to talk like that. I, myself, made such blunt statements a few times in several past worlds. It was always the first time anyone in that world heard anything like that. That must have been very easy for them, and I envied it.
フルデさん。
Jay was standing there dumbfounded. I stood up from my seat. Satoko wasn't around. I didn't want to be locked up inside this human place.
帰るわ。
I'm not coming here anymore. Goodbye. I felt like saying something like that. However, I retained the small hope that Satoko might go to school the next day, so I kept it to myself. However, Chie wouldn't let me go. She grabbed me by the arm and dragged me to the teacher's office instead. Chie told me to take a seat on the couch by the principal's office. She had no right to tell me what to do. I could just escape through the open window. As I didn't have that kind of energy, however, I sat on the couch she told me to. I realized then that I didn't even have the energy to be rebellious. Maybe Satoko felt the same. She lost the energy to rebel, so she was simply obeying her uncle.
フルデさん、何があった？先生はきっと力になれますよ。
Chie spoke to me, but I already knew that her words were empty. All she would do was call the Child Consultation Center. She wouldn't go to the Hojo residence, pull Satoko out of there. So there was no point in even discussing the topic with her. If I told her, she wouldn't keep it to herself, and shortly everyone would know about what was happening with Satoko. That would only result in chaos. To call the Child Consultation Center, the staff from there will go and visit Satoko. Her uncle will deny the abuse, and Satoko will also deny it because of the guilt she feels over Satoshi leaving. Shortly after, they'll find out about the false report Satoko made before, and they'll decide to not proceed any further. Her uncle will allow Satoko to go to school for a few days, but his abuse will get worse because he'll think she's the one who called the Child Consultation Center. He'll do horrible things to her, just like her aunt did last year. Calling the Child Consultation Center will not help Satoko. It will instead put her in an even worse situation. It's better not to notify them at all. But if we don't report it, then how else is this world supposed to improve? No. Nothing is going to change. There's nothing that can be done once this unfortunate fate overtakes Satoko. See, that's your problem. That's a problem. You believe that nothing can be done. I understand, like, you're just like, I got no more hope. That's the problem. That's the problem. You need to keep that hope alive until the very end. Because fuck, that's what happened in the last fucking world you were in. You had already given up hope. You said as much. You'd already given up hope and said the world was doomed. But then you saw the interaction between Keiichi and Reina. You saw that scene on the rooftop. You saw it play out. And you realized, oh shit, there's hope again. And now the moment adversity faces you again, I get it. It's the worst kind of adversity you'd ever want to face. I totally get it. But what's it, you just fold immediately, like, oh, there's no hope anymore. Like, no, god damn it. You don't get your miracle if you don't have hope.
北条さんのそれは
I had somehow answered all of Chie's questions without noticing. I knew that nothing would change whether I spoke to her or not, so I just told her everything, because I had no energy to rebel.
大変なことで、そこまで知って、あなたは何ができるの？
Chie answered right away without faltering, already used to my spiteful tone.
今日、まずは聡子ちゃんに。それで問題があるならば、聡子は過去に虐待の確たる証拠がない。人が殺されるまで捜査をしてくれない警察。聡子が殺されるまで。そうすると、相談所もいじめの兆候は全くなかった。普段は明るくて全く予見。そこはきっと相談。私も北条さんの窮状をしっかり訴えます。
You've done the same in previous lives too. I I wasn't denying her passion, but I couldn't say that there was meaning to it. The problem wasn't with Chie. The problem was with them. No matter how hard Chie tried to seek help from child services, it meant nothing as long as they held biased notions about Satoko.
そんなの虐待の痕跡があるかどうかなんて関係ないじゃないですか。
See, that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm like, but Shion's here now. I suddenly heard a voice from the hallway. It was Shion's voice. Chie shouted, "Who's there?" and I heard Mion gasping, "Crap." They must have been listening to our conversation. They're having a quiet discussion outside the door, but Shion accidentally raised her voice. She gets so violent sometimes. 4 people entered into the room from the hallway. Mion, Shion, Keiichi, and Reina.
自習だと委員長はそんな場合じゃない。さとこに何かあったら先生取れないでしょ。ひよってる場合じゃないです。すぐに行動。おねんのバカとかは虐待のちゃんとした証拠がないとミオンはさとこを見殺しにする気。そこさっきも言ったようにさとこには過去に虐待 SOS に嘘の通報電話をした結果だからしっかりした証拠がなければそれはどういうことか考えおじの怒りに油を注ぐだけさとこを余計追い詰めるだけなんだよ。
くそ、何かある前に手をほどさとこに致命的な虐待の痕跡が刻印される。
みんな落ち着い。私もしーちゃんやケイ何かあるまで様子を見なら何ができるのかを考えなくちゃ。
何かって児童相談所に相談絶対に助けてくれるならいいが様子見になる確率が高いって。
うん、悔しいけど昨年がそうだったようにしかも今年は昨年に比べたら去年はさとこが十分に追い詰められている。でも今回はまだおじしかもおじは1年間放置していたとはいえそんな回りくどいことなそんな野郎待ち伏せてぶっ殺してやればいい。
しーちゃんサトシ君はそんなのを絶対に。
じゃあさとこをどうサトシ君に頼まれた。さとこ私さとこに何かあったらサトシ君に顔向けできないよ。さとこがいじめ抜かれた後じゃないと手が打てない。目の前で現在進行している犯罪はまず違うです。止めなきゃ。私たちの手で自ら止めなきゃ。落ち着きなよシオン。おねその先本家の力でさとこをできるでしょ。さとこ一人を助けるくらいの力は十分分かってるよ。ダム戦争で遺恨が残る北条家にさとこがどうなろうと見て見ぬふりというのが児童相談所に助けられなくて私はやるよ。今すぐ殺してやる。この場からさとこの家まで行って刺し殺すのに1500秒もかからないんだから。あんたたちには1500何もできないでしょ。私が助ける。話してよ話。今から殺しに行くんだから。シオンさん物騒なことをこれ以上言うと怒りますよ。
They were desperately discussing how to save her. I just sat on the couch and stared at them vaguely. I had seen the same discussion many times in many different situations. I was tired of listening to it. The only difference was that everything was happening a few days earlier than usual.
リカ大丈夫。もう何にも期待なんてどこにも残ってない。
Hanya made a sad expression. I couldn't tell if she was sad about our fate or if she was taking pity on me. Just as she promised, Chie went to Satoko's house after school. It had only been a day since Satoko's uncle took her away. She wouldn't be able to tell if he'd heard her already or not. If the students hadn't made such a big fuss about it, Chie would have waited a couple of days before going to her house. She already knew, however, about what happened to Satoko the previous year. She also knew that her uncle was abusing her just like her aunt, and that he had neglected to act as her guardian for the whole year. Considering those factors, it might not have been too soon for her to visit the Hojo residence. Satoko hadn't shown up in school that day. No one called the school to explain her absence. That alone was proof that her uncle wasn't taking responsibility as her guardian. Chie was going to her house to see what was going on with her own eyes. She parked the car in the street and checked the map she brought from the school. Oh god, are we gonna see things from Chie's perspective? Okay. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that one, but alright, let's lock in. It said Hojo residence on the sign in front of the house. Chie was certain that this had to be the place. The window on the second floor was open. She could see a curtain hanging there. From that window, she could hear the laughing voices of several old men. No one had answered the phone when she called right before leaving the school. She could also hear the clicking noise of mahjong tiles along with the voices. Mahjong tiles? She had never played mahjong before, but she had a pretty idea that was it from the way the men were talking. They were playing mahjong, and there must have been 3 other men inside the house. Her students had told her that Satoko's uncle was a very violent man. Chie was a teacher, true, but she was also just a young lady. She felt hesitant to ring the doorbell after hearing their disgusting laughter. But courage drove her forward. Like, on one hand, I do respect that. I do. But, like, and not to say that, like, hey, women can't, handle business. Well, I'm not saying that either, but also, like, we know your principal, right? He's definitely got, like, some, I forget what his history was, but, like, he knows how to scrap, right? He knows how to hold his own if he needs to. So, like, maybe you fucking hit up the principal, like, hey, you come with me to help me. Like, there's this guy, we believe he's violent, and that way, once you realize there's 3 other guys in there, you'd be like, all right, at least I got the big man here to, like, as like a deterrent to keep them from getting too violent. She made her decision and rang the doorbell. She heard the bell ring inside the house. The laughing voices continued to echo from the 2nd floor. Seemed as though they didn't hear the bell. She rang the bell again. This time the laughter stopped for a moment. Someone must have heard the sound. Soon after, they started laughing again. Did not sound like anyone was coming to get the door. She thought someone heard the bell, but perhaps not. Chie was sure they were home, of course. She couldn't leave just because no one was answering the door. She knocked and yelled loudly this time.
こんにちは、北条さん、いらっしゃいませんか?
Finally, the laughter stopped, and a man with a scary look on his face opened the door.
なんじゃいね、やかましか、とっととうせえ。
Chie felt intimidated by him, but her heart was filled with the teacher's pride and responsibility.
こんにちは、私。
Before she could introduce herself, Teppei screamed at her.
やかましか、新聞も牛乳も保険。わしは今仕事中じゃいね。
The people in the room laughed when he told her he was working. Chie wouldn't give up. She continued to speak.
私、ひなみ沢文庫教諭の。
ああ、なんじゃよ、どれ。
今日、北条さんが学校をお休みしましたけれど、連絡がなかったもので、何かあったのかと思いお伺いさせていただきました。
ああ、学校。
はい、ちょっとお話。
ああ、風邪なんだ。さとこは風邪でね。
プリントとかをお渡ししたい。
ドアホ踊れ話聞いてな。さとこはうなっとる。それを合わせられるかいボケ。
そう、明日は登校できそうです。
知るかいな。そんなもん明日にな。このクソボケ。
わかりました。では、さとこ、失礼します。
Chie bowed. By the time she lifted up her head, Teppei was no longer there. When Chie returned to the school, several students emerged from the classroom. They were Keiichi, Reina, Mion, and Shion. Riko was also still inside the classroom, but she wouldn't come outside.
さとこのとこに行ってきたんですよね。皆さん、それが聞きたくて待っていたんですか？
チエ先生、さとこはどうでしたか？
それが合わせてもら。あんた何しに？教師ですよ。ガキの使いじゃないんです。会えませんでした。そうですか。いや、そんなこともあるだ。どうせさとこの顔にだから合わせられない。そこは無理やりだからもう本当にごめんなさい。やめなよし。先生はできる範囲の最善を。
だが、そのさとこのおじってやつが、さとこ。
そんなの確かめる。リカちゃまがそうだって昼間からずっと言ってるじゃないです。それを確かめるだけに半日。それでどうするんですか？どうやってさとこを助けるつもり？だからそれをみんなで。シオンがさとこのことを決して見殺しになんかしない。私たちにそうですね。私がたった一人で今日中に死体を隠すとこだけお姉の力を借り。だからシーちゃん、物騒な話をする。シーちゃんは人殺しのことを人を殺せば解決できるなんて考え。なら他に提案をしてみて。私の提案が最低の最低なら、私よりほんのちょっぴり上等な程度でいいですから。ほら何も言えないじゃないです。私なら1500秒でさとこを救える。お姉の力なんか借りられなくてもいい。ほら提案してくださいよ。だからそうじゃ。一人で悩んだらそんなことしか考えられないの。ならはっきり1500かかりすぎでしょ。そんなの私なら1000秒かけないよ。しーちゃんなんかみたいにぐちぐち言わずに黙って教室を出てなんでそうしないと思う。昔たとえそれしか方法がなかったとしても正しいことじゃない。最善手なんかじゃないの。それしかないと思ってしまうことが一人で悩むことの限界なの。
Get her ass, Reina. A long time ago. I don't know who told me this. Someone taught it to me. There's something that troubles you. You can't think about it all on your own. Yes? You can't think that your own solution is the best way to conclude things. Yes?
みんなで考える。みんなで悩む。確かに今この瞬間はしーちゃんの
いいとか悪いとかの問題じゃないです。1分1秒でも無駄な時間を費やせば北条ってせいがサトシ君やサトコがどんなに辛くても誰も手を差し私がそこをどいてそこまで言うあいつをサクッと殺してサトコを助け出してくる。ダメだよ。お前たちは呪ってろ。自分たちの無力さをそしてより集まって思いつきもしない妙案をそうしてサトコのためにあんたたちは誰もサトコのことなんか遊び友達だとしか私は違う。サトコは友達以上家族だとすらあんたたちとはサトコを大事にじゃあねさようなら。
待ちな。
何を邪魔する気です。
シオン、お前レナの言ったことが半分も理解できてねえだろ。
半分どころか殺しをするほんのちょっとの度胸があればすぐに救えるのに。
シオン、お前が人殺しをしてまでサトコを救ったとしてサトコは感謝すると思ってるのか。
感謝が欲しいわけじゃない。別に私は差し違い。それでサトコが幸せになれるなら。
違うな。口先の威勢はなかなかいいがお前にはその証拠にお前はさっきミオンにそれはつまり差し違えたくない。お前が本当に望んでいる世界は俺たちみんなが仲良く楽しく過ごしてだがな、お前が殺人を犯せばそうそう簡単に完全犯罪なんかができると思うなよ。
それくらい覚悟。サトコの苦しみを私が懲役で変われるなら本望です。
違うな違うな。絶対にお前は自分を呪うぜ。かけてもいい。どうして自分が殺人なんて貧乏くじを引かなくちゃならなかったのか未練がましく自分を呪うんだ。そしてその時になってようやくそれは叔父を殺すことじゃない。みんなと元の世界に。そしてそれは殺人を犯すことで台無しになってしまうんだよ。そしてお前が自分を呪うように自分が原因でシオンが殺人を犯す羽目になったと。第一、お前がいなくなったら誰がサトコに誰がサトコと陰険なトラップの相談をするんだよ。お前だろ。園崎シオンだ。お前が本当に目指す世界にはそこを間違えるな。サトコのためだと錯覚して自ら取り。
そこまで言うならケイちゃんはサトコを救ってできないでしょ。口先だけのキルだからそこを殺す。私が今から殺しに行く。
Keiichi blocked her way by standing in front of the door. Shion gave him a hateful glare, but he just sent her back a confident smile.
シオンを生かせ。俺たちの望む世界はシオンが欠けたら成立しない。だから俺は。
ほう、ならケイちゃんはなら同罪だ。お前から先に頭を叩き割ってちょっとバカシオンやめなよ。シオンさん、その椅子をどうするつもり。やめなさい。椅子を床に置きな。ケイちゃんがこの後に及んでまだ謝んなくていいですから。
シオン、でもそれはいい。俺たちはきっとサトコを絶対にだ。絶対に俺たちがサトコだから信じろ。
仲間であるサトコのために手を汚さない連中にもう一度は言わない。そこをどきやがれ。
シオンこそ俺たちはそれを信じ。だから短絡的な考えに走る。仲間を信じろ。仲間呼ばわりされて前原圭一が。だからそいつ。
黙れ。お前なんか信じられるか。お前にどうやってサトコがシオン。
Shion threw the chair at Keiichi. He hit him hard, and the chair fell to the floor with a loud noise. But Keiichi was unfazed even after being struck. Just stood in front of the exit without even covering his face. Wait, he wasn't unfazed. A trail of blood was pouring from Keiichi's forehead where the corner of the chair hurt him.
その程度で俺が殺されたって俺はここをどかねえぞ。お前を生かせればシオンのいないその世界ではいなくなったお前のことを俺たちがどうやって慰めてもそんな悲しい世界があるんだ。俺はサトコにそんな悲しい世界を見せた。俺たちが描く世界は昨日までがそうだったようにみんなもちろんおじの野郎なんかにそれがどういう方法になっても絶対だ。だから俺を信じろ。
Shion wasn't yet convinced. Even so, she walked to the window and took her seat. Somebody rested a hand on Keiichi's shoulder. It was the principal. He had been standing there and listening to him for a while.
校長先
よくたい。知恵先生、
私が至らぬば。
昨日の今日の出来事ではしかるべきところへすぐに連絡するべきであろう。
でも校長先生、児童相談所には過去にも相談したことがあって、どうせ助けてなんか他力本願もいいとこです。
Shion raised her voice. Principal looked at Shion and started
そ
talking.
の先私は言葉のそれが何かは今君が言ったどうせという言葉だ。どうせという言葉は戦いもせず負けを認める最も醜い言葉だ。その言葉を口にした時すでに戦いには
私も校長先生の意見、どんな策があるにせ児童相談所に相談するのは、それでダメなら2番目の手、試しもしないうちから諦めるのは、私は見殺しにするのと何も変わらないと思うから。
Speak your truth, Queen. Let Rika hear it. Don't give up before you try.
校長、もちろん絶対聡子を助けてもらえるように。
無論だ。北条君はきっと助けてもらえるようわしにできる。
児童相談所は迅速ですから、今から通報すれば。それでもしもまた様子見なんてことになったら。
それがダメだったら、私たちが諦めない限り絶対に聡子ちゃんを救えるんだから。
Facts.
いつまでも綺麗事を言っててくださ
Fuck
い。
you, Shion.
そうしてのんびりしてるうちに、聡子は癒しようのない心の傷を負う。見殺しにしてるのはどっちなんですよ。
シオン、俺はさっき約束したからな。俺たちは、それもお前聡子が本当に幸せになれるような。見てろ、前原圭一が絶対と言ったらそれは絶対なんだ。
Shion stared out the window without looking at Keiichi's face.
園崎家の方で児童相談、分かったらみんなに電話するよ。
それで無事保護されることに決まれば。
もちろん楽観まで様子見になる可能性が。そうなったらどうする？
その時は
千恵先生、職員室に行き早速電話をしましょ
う。ええ、よく説明しないといけません。
They left the classroom. Keiichi, Reina, and Mion got together and discussed their options. Shion was looking down and crying. Come on, Rika. Rika was just vaguely looking at them as if staring at a boring TV drama. Nothing will change. Child Consultation Center will put her case on hold. I've seen it so many times in previous lives. I almost hope that they will take her into custody just this once. But I have no more coins left to gamble on a hope like that. In a previous life, Keiichi killed Satoko's uncle, but Shion was not there when that happened. When she is, I suppose she's the one who takes on that role. Their pathetic hopes will be crushed by tomorrow morning. The social worker will be at her house tonight, but Satoko will deny that she's being abused. Her uncle will assume that she was the one who called the surface, and he'll abuse her even more. She'll come to school tomorrow because he doesn't want the Child Consultation Center to be suspicious of him. We'll feel more and more hopeless when we see the dead look in Satoko's eyes. I've been living for more than 100 years, but I've never defeated this fate. The fate of her uncle's return. I was blessed with so much luck, and I thought I could defeat it this time. But in the end, it all came down to the same thing. It was a waste of energy to put in any effort. It was worthless. All worthless. The more I thought about this inescapable fate, the more I pitied these people for talking endlessly about how they were going to save Satoko. Nah. Wet blanket. Oh. The hell? No, I don't want to see this motherfucker. Teppei returned to Hinamizawa to escape some trouble. He'd have to stay there for the rest of the summer, perhaps the whole year, and see what happened. For him, the house in Hinamizawa was like a rather dull hiding place. His lover, Irina, had suddenly disappeared. Rumors told him that she was involved with some dangerous deal. Some source even told him that she had already been caught and killed. Everyone he knew was aware that Irina was living with him. Everyone also assumed that he knew everything about what Irina did. They were convinced that he got money by tricking her into doing something, and as a result, some dangerous men came after him. That made it difficult for him to stay in Okonomiya. More than anything, it pissed him off to find out that Irina was cooking up something behind his back with some other guys. Hinamizawa was about the only place he could go. He couldn't go back to the house where he used to live with his wife, as it had been abandoned since he moved into Satoko's house. Besides, he didn't even have the key to his old place. If he went to Satoko's house, she should still be there, and she should clean and cook for him, too. Tepe didn't know how to cook or clean, and he certainly wasn't thinking of learning. Rina had often been rebellious towards Tepe. He had often said that he wanted to be with someone more loyal, like a pet. For Tepe, Satoko was exactly what he wanted. As Satoko is still a little kid, she can't satisfy him sexually, but he can at least make her wash his back in the bath. I mean, it's something. That is a genuine small comfort that at least there's nothing sexual happening. Satoko's dead mother used to be a pretty woman. Satoko might grow up to become pretty lady herself in about 4 or 5 years. Obviously, it's not perfect, but as long as it's not happening right now, there's hope. Tepe headed back to Inamizawa with those indecent thoughts in his head. The house was locked, so he assumed that she was at the market for grocery shopping. Found her at the store and dragged her back home. However, the house was full of dust. She'd been living at her friend's house for the last year, and the house had been abandoned. Tepe exploded in anger. Told her that it was her responsibility to keep the house in order. He beat her and kicked her down to the floor. Eventually, Satoko's expression returned to what he remembered from 1982. Satoko started obeying him immediately and cleaned up the house. A new place to hide with a new girl. His new life was starting out pretty good. Tepe called his buddies to show off his new beginning and ended up playing mahjong with them. Bragged about his new pet, made her serve them food and drinks, told her to walk on all fours like a real pet. She refused, but she obeyed immediately when he tried to hit her. Everyone was laughing and they were all jealous of him. Tepe felt really good about himself. However, someone arrived to interrupt this perfect life.
私、ひなみ沢文庫教諭の千恵と申します。北条さと子さんはいらっしゃいますか?
He thought someone was at his door to sell insurance or something, but it was a school teacher.
なんで踊り
今日、北条さんが学校をはい、さと子ちょっとお話。
風なんねそう
プリントとかを
ドアホさとうねっとるそれ合わせられるかいバケ
This was going to cause him problems, Tepe realized. Satoko was just a pet for him and he had no intention of sending her to school. But her teacher had shown up at his house just because she missed one day. This wasn't good. Tepe hates schools and he really hates teachers.
そうですか。
知るかいなそこの
では、さと失礼します。
He was able to get rid of the teacher, but it would create more problems if he didn't send Satoko to school tomorrow. Tepe didn't need even more trouble on his place. That meant he couldn't beat up Satoko like he wanted to. Violence was the only way he knew how to communicate. With that out of the picture, it was very difficult for him. He wanted to beat up Satoko, but that would leave evidence on her body. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to send her to school. If she didn't go to school, that teacher would show up at his doorstep again. Shit. On top of all that, the Child Consultation Center paid a visit to his house that night. The teacher must have filed a report. Bitch, Tepe thought. Next time I'll beat her face in so hard she'll need plastic surgery. Since Satoko was afraid of him, she pretended she was really sick when the social worker visited. It was so easy for Tepe to control her. He considered Satoko to be a convenient pet. At the same time, he needed to be careful about the consultation center. So because things are moving so quickly, he doesn't assume that it's Satoko who called the consultation center, right? Because that's what happened. That's what Rika kept saying happened last time. Is he pinned the blame on Satoko that she called the consultation center and caused this to happen. But because things are happening so quickly in motion, because the teacher shows up and then later that night there's already someone showed up, he's able to connect the dots that, okay, it was the teacher that did it. And because things are happening so quickly, he's not doing as much to Satoko, right? Because with chapter 3, there were several days before Satoko actually showed up. But yeah, because things are happening so quickly, he's realizing he can't just beat on her. He actually has to send her to school. If he doesn't do all these things, he's going to get in more trouble than he's already in. So there's hope. There's hope. Rika can't see it. Shion can't see it. But there's hope. The rest of them, they already have hope. They already have hope. They're going to do what needs to be done. They're going to help out little homie. But there's hope. There's hope.
多分そうだろうとは思ったんだけどね。
Mion called me in the middle of the night. The social worker sent to Satoko's house tonight after getting a call from the school. They had a talk with Satoko and her uncle. He told them that Satoko didn't go to school today because of a cold. He also claimed he didn't call the school because he didn't have the number. He explained that he spoke with Chia-sensei politely and that she just misunderstood his behavior. Satoko didn't really talk, but she never denied what her uncle was saying.
で、サトコも一緒に。
サトコはサトシがいなくなった。だから
誰の助けも借りずに耐え忍ぶことがクソバ
保護士の人の所見では少なくともサトコに聞き取りの結果移植は与えられてるようで。
そんなのは当たり前。移植も寝る場所もなくならないと虐待とは。
まあそういうことらしい。そういうケースではそもそも面会も拒否されるらしいから、面会できた時点で相談所は緊急性がないと判断したみたい。
シオンのやつがっくり。
サトコがサトシに義理立てして助けを求めないように、シオンもサトシに義理立てしてサトコを救おうと躍起になっているとこがある。短期を起こそうって気はがっくりしてるよ。
今この場で愚痴ってもサトシは本当にどこに妹の危機だっての
わからないとしか言えない。
そうだな、すまん。サトシが帰ってきてくれれば他力本願の極みだぜ。誰かが助けに来てくれるのを助けるんだ。
そうだね、私たちにできる。
しかしその先今日訪問したばかりの児童相談所の中に
まあまあそこは国家機密ということで。
ってことはその人は今回の件
熱くならずにしばらく様子を。
なんだよミオ、お前さ、おじに監禁されていじめられてて。
ケイちゃん、その人が私に言ったことをそのまま言うんだから。確かにサトコが今日と、でも1週間や1ヶ月というならともかく1日じゃ。
でもサトコの体や心に消せない。
待ってケイちゃん、そこな。私たちは去年のサト、実際昨日今日客観的に見て。
確かに。それにリカちゃんと2人で暮らしてるの無理に。
親権者が子供を保護すること自体だからさ、客観的に見て。
虐待が起こる前って。ミオンに怒鳴ることじゃねえな。すまん。
I knew that wasn't Mion's opinion, but it felt like she was telling me that, and I raised my voice. When I sensed her dismay, I quickly apologized.
私も去年の通報も様子見で解決してる。
去年の虐待を解決したのは別に相談所が解決したわけじゃねえ。
でもとにかく去年の件を含めても相談所はそのくらいの危機感しか持ってないってこと。私たちと相談所の温度差がどうも敵みたいなんだよ。
わかった。とにかく次の手はすぐに考えよう。明日は全員で会議しよう。俺たちは最強の部下。今までもっと条件の悪い戦いを。
As we spoke, I felt less angry about the decision that the Child Consultation Center made. It was something we expected anyway. I was being emotional for a while, but Mion wasn't taking it personally. She's usually a tough person, but I know that she feels very weak when something like this happens. I have to be careful not to get too emotional with her. Our enemy was Tepe. I couldn't yell at my friends just because I was frustrated. I almost forgot sometimes, but Mion is a girl. There's no way yelling at her without cause wouldn't hurt her. I think I have a tendency to lash out with my emotions sometimes, you think? I definitely need to rein in that bad habit, especially during emergencies like this. All I could do by myself was probably the same thing Shion was suggesting earlier, but I knew it wouldn't make Satoko happy. We club members are fearless. The power I possess is the smallest among all of us. That's why I need to communicate with them. Yes! If we united, we'd be able to come up with a better plan. Yes! I couldn't think of a plan all by myself. 3 heads are better than 1. We would definitely figure something out.
じゃあ私はこれからリカちゃんに、ケイちゃんはレナに電話してく。
おう、レナか。今日のあいつ、それにいいことも言ってたぜ。土壇場で骨のあるやつだよな。
レナは昔からここ一番では絶対に。でもいいことならケイちゃんもちょっとかっこよかったかもだね。
今更だが、なんだか恥ずかしいぜ。
じゃあこれで切るね。レナもきっと連絡を。申し訳ないけど。
おう、リカちゃんの方にもよろしく。誰もが辛いが、多分リカちゃんはもっともっと辛いと思う。
Rika-chan was looking at the ground with a depressed look on her face all day. My chest hurt just remembering it. It must be even more painful to look at Satoko. Mion hung up the phone. I also hung up, then called Reina. She picked up the phone after one ring, which surprised me.
もしもし、お前受話器の。
なかなか連絡がないし。
その話は多分ミオンは 今は役割分担ってことで、だから俺が上級。ああ、残念だが。
すっごい悔しい。向こうの言い分はまだ1日しか経って、今日の欠席も本当に風邪かもしれない。こんなとこかな。
お前、そうだよ。
まだ1日しか経ってない。虐待が起こってしまったら。
虐待が本当に起こったら、そうなったら叔父のやつ、里子を保護司に合わせるわけがない。そうなったらそうなったで、またしても虐待の痕跡は
それってすっごい矛盾だよね。
Apparently they need court approval to force entry, but applying for that isn't easy. So while social workers may be supposed to have great legal power, in reality, their hands are tied and they can't act if the family turns them away. They're not the police. They're not the ones who storm in even if they have to break windows to do so. Damn it. And who does have the right to break those windows? If we did, I'd smash them wide open.
とにかく、連中には危機感が、このまま里子を放っておいたら。
圭一君って、だって、圭一君って転校してきたばかりな。里子ちゃんと知り合って、これだけ親身になって、そして、去年の里子ちゃんがどんな状況だったか見たこと。圭一君が普通の人だったなら、まだ1日目だろ。
そんなのちょっと想像すりゃわかる。それにみんなから去年の里子がどうだったかってことは、それから考えれば一刻の猶予もないことなんて。
それはきっとすごいこと。今日しーちゃんが乱暴なことを言いながら教室から出て行こうとした時、そして圭一君が言った言葉が深かった。
Do you think Satoko would appreciate it if you saved her by committing murder?
なかなか男の子が言えることじゃないよ。それどころかしーちゃんが言い出すようなことは圭一君が言い出すんじゃないかと思ってた。
That's Arena. She saw right through me to the core. To be honest, I was able to keep my calm because Shion caused that commotion. He was able to see how Shion was acting and realize how bad going down that route is. Meanwhile, if he was the one acting that way, there's no one for him to really see just how bad of a fucking choice that is to make. I, too, thought our only option was to kill him. What's there to hesitate about? Everything would be resolved if we went over and killed her uncle right away. I thought those same things myself. When I thought about how I would actually kill him, first I'd assault him with a metal bat or something. But before that, I would scope out his house and dig the hole to bury his body ahead of time. When I imagined it, I envisioned myself actually digging the hole with a camping shovel in the woods. I repeated, "This is for Satoko. This is for Satoko," in my mind like a mantra, trying to forget the weight of the murder ahead. I relived that, exhaustion and frustration. I could very clearly imagine myself standing there, soaking with sweat and covered in mosquito bites. Then I'm sure I'd call her uncle or something to lure him out of the house and bludgeon him to death. Then I repeated my mantra, "This is for Satoko, this is for Satoko," blaming her for that serious crime as I tried to avoid my own guilt over committing murder. Did Satoko ask me to do that? Am I going to blame it all on her because I committed murder? Would she appreciate that? No, she wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to tell anyone that I had killed someone. No one would appreciate my deed, and I'd have to carry that burden for the rest of my life. That pathetic future is one I couldn't have imagined in the rush I felt before carrying out the murder. I decided to kill him so I could return us to happier times, but the act of murder also meant shattering the thin path that could lead us back there.
俺はそこまで想像でき、シオンのように口に出して言うには及ばなかっただけ。もしそこまで想像が及ばなかったら、俺もシオンに同調して殺せ殺せって騒いでいた可能性は高い。
そうなってたらもうどうにもならなかったね。圭一君の想像力が豊かでよかったかな。
Was that really just my imagination, though? Did I imagine killing her uncle in my mind? Could imagination alone really be that vivid? I could smell the earth, taste the scattered dirt flying into my mouth, see the pebbles scattered as I shoved my shovel down, and hear the roots cracking from its weight. The image was so real, it felt more like I had actually done it in the past.
そうだな。どういうことをしたら。
想像力のない大人になっちゃったら、圭一君は冷静ないい大人になれると思うよ。
あれは想像の中だったのか。なんだかさ、そういうイフの世界が。
想像力が本当に豊かな人は、だから圭一君が本当に悩んで、それは単なる想像の世界ではなく、
その別の世界でも相談所への通報は、それでその後 里子は一時的に学校に登校するようになるんだが、何日もしないうちに壊れてしまうんだ。
Satoko was bearing the abuse, but even something small would be enough to break her. She's like an old bowl that has a crack in it. One day that crack will eventually widen and the bowl will shatter.
俺の想像の世界では、俺の手がおじの手に見えた。俺の手を払いのけて泣きながら
ニーニーって呼び方。
え、さあな、誰かに聞いた。里子がサトシを呼ぶと、それがさ、本当に俺は慰めてやりたいのに、俺が近寄ろうとするとおじの姿に見えるらしい。
やっぱりそれはとても想像の中
Yeah,
のこととは
crazy
思えない。
imagination, right?
去年のさとこちゃんは本当にそうだった。私やみーちゃんなんかはよく覚えてるから想像がつくことだけど、本当に圭一だから圭一くんは。
じゃあ
圭一くんほどこのままさとこちゃんを救えずに圭一くんが言うような形でニーニーって、その時無力であることが何もしないことが罪なんだ。あれ、私の想像の中、本当に悲しくて涙が出てきた。
Reina can also sense how urgently we need to save Satoko. Not everybody feels that way, though. My friends all do, but they're special. And normal people like those at the Child Consultation Center see us as overreacting.
そうだよね。まだ1日しか経ってないって言われたら、風邪なんかでお薬をもらう。2、3日様子を見てみましょうってこと。
でな、俺たちはこの危機感に一刻の猶予もない。きっと里子を助け出そう。
私たちは一人一人では何も思いつけないけれど、ずっと昔、私が一人で悩んで、今こそそれを実践する時なんだと思う。
そうだな、誰だか知らんが、レナにそれを教えたやつは立派なやつだな。
It was strange. I had this feeling ever since Reina told me this story at school. I felt like I, too, once learned a lesson after some event. But Reina and I only met recently. I guess it's just a coincidence. Anyway, I was so lonely inside of my imagination. That it was stupid for them to only sit and think about how they could save Satoko, and I made a selfish decision. But I eventually learned, just like Reina did. You'll never come up with anything good by worrying about something on your own. You have to talk to your friends. That way they will help you reach the best possible solution, Rika.
圭一くんがしーちゃんの前に立ち俺を信じろ。今は思いつかないが、私は信じるから。圭一くんはきっと最善手を思いつく。
いいアイデアは。
そういう意味じゃないよ。私は何があっても絶対信じる。私たちはきっとさとこちゃんを救えるって知ったから、絶対に短絡的な手段には。
ああ、そうだな。きっと俺たちはさとこを信じろ。俺も信じる。
I will never think that I'm the only one who's trying to save her. I believe that all of us feel the same way.
明日みんなで集まって会議をしよう。実際に通報してくれた。俺たちは子供だから次の手が思いつかないが。
そうだね。もうこれしか手がないの。
そうさ、手がないなんて手はある。絶対にあるんだ。だから俺たち自身に手がなくても。
諦めない。
Mion praised her for it too, but Reina really is strong in a crisis. I got a little emotional when I was talking with Mion, but Reina is different. Her fire is quiet and blue, so at first glance it seems lesser than my bright red roaring blaze, but the truth is the opposite. Blue flames burn far hotter. As I spoke with Reina, I felt my useless wild energy calming down, so I could rationally search for the best solution. Through that, I felt Reina's strength. Though, apparently, Reina felt similarly about me.
圭一くんと話していると、圭一くんにはそういう力強さと頼もしだから圭一くんと話をしていると、どんどん勇気が出てくる。私たちは必ずさとこちゃんを救い出せるんだって元気になってくる。
俺はレナから冷静さ。レナは俺から元気か。なるほど。お互いにうまく補完し合っている関係だな。理想的じゃないか。
そしてみーちゃんには園崎家という強い力がありながらも、でもそこはレナと圭一くんできっと補ってあげられると思う。
そうだな。俺たちメンバーは。
そうだよ。
Talking to Reina made me feel very confident. If I can share that confidence with my friends, I'll never feel down and miserable ever again. I'm going to give my power to the other club members so we can fight even harder.
リカちゃんは今一番打ちのめされていて、でも私たちが戦う姿を見ていれば。
そうだな。 リカちゃんが戦う気力を取り戻してくれれ
Now
ば
that I believe.
ますますに俺たちは無敵
Once
だぜ。
Rika gets her will back, oh yeah, no, things are gonna be moving.
とにかく明日だ。校長も交えて次にどういう手があるのか考え、いろんな人を巻き込んで助力を得てみよう。とにかく最善手を探そう。それこそが今の俺たちにできる最善手だ。
I got off the phone with Reina. That was a pretty passionate conversation we were having. It's unfortunate the Child Consultation Center came to the conclusion they did, but if they could still decide to wait and see, then that proved that Satoko was still safe for now. We are no more than children. Worrying about it too much won't cause us to come up with any good ideas. Murder isn't a real solution, but I had to admit, I thought about it once. It's easy to burn up in rage. However, I'd have to stay calm like Reina. She was still burning up very calmly with a blue and quiet flame. Never seen anything like that before.
ケイチ、お風呂が空いた。早く入りなさい。
I heard my mom speaking to me.
いいよ。母さんが先に入りなよ。
I need more time to think about what to do with Satoko. Everyone else is probably doing the same.
ケイチも今日の入浴剤は本物の温泉で。
本物の温泉には入。
風呂上がりの牛乳がうまい。
My dad seemed to be in a good mood. He probably finished his work. He's as scary as a bear when he has artist block. Nah, maybe. Maybe my parents could help with an idea. They're the closest adults to me after all. Should I talk to them? Stupid question. I had no reason not to. I'd have to talk to them and seek some advice.
父さんさ、実は。
なんだ。父さんも応援してる。そういえば実行委員父さんも呼ばれてたな。ちゃんと予定表に書いて。
あ、その件じゃん。実はクラスメートがちょっと大変なことになってて。
As I talked about Satoko, my mom joined us and listened as well. My dad is a strange artist, but my mom is a normal person with common sense. She might be able to help.
それでさっきの電話は、それで俺たち。
沖宮の生活相談所に通報。
でもその子は去年虐待の度合いのことはわからないが、二人で仲良く暮らしていたのを無理やり。
1年間も養育を放棄し。
児童相談所が様子見って言ってるから、俺たちは里子の仲間だ。でもそれがどんな方法なのか思い。
ケイチ、闇討ちなんて
考えてな。というかそんなこと考えてたら。
それもそう。ケイチのことだから完全犯罪ってどんな方法がある？
God, could you imagine that? That'd be crazy. Hey, I would never ask my parents something like that. Yeah, that'd be fucking crazy. I think. Yeah, at least I think I would.
世の中には戦いがたくさんあるが、ルールを違反する人は誰も助けてくれないし、ちゃんとルールにのっと。
喧嘩にルールも減ったくれ。で、どう？何か手があったら教えてほしいんだけど。
My parents have been alive for more than twice as long as me. They must have had some experience with things like this. They must have many good ideas. At least that's what I thought. But they crossed their arms and went silent.
普通はそういう話になった。通報して拉致。
やっぱり法律とかそういう。里子がひどい傷を負うまで。
だとしたら
訴える？裁判？
違うぞケイ。児童虐待は児童相談所の、そしてその児童相談所の
裁判で訴える？
ケイチ、裁判は当事者同士の話し合いがつかないとき、その裁定を求める場でしょ。
No, with the consultation center. We're suing the consultation center? It's like, no.
その前の段階を踏まなくちゃ。
日常生活の保全とも、そしてその相談所の。
なら。
See, we talk about it. We talk to people. We share our feelings. Fuck yeah. Fucking love sharing my feelings. If we're unsatisfied with the decision they made, we can simply go and tell them that.
サトコとうちの関係はそんなのんびりしたもの。
そうだよね。相談所の人が私たちと同じくらいに、もし状況の認識に誤解があるなら、私たちが説明し。
なるほど。真正面からの正攻法ってわけか。
どうでしょうね。
Fuck you.
お役所って一度決めた決定は容易に覆さないと聞きます。
Gotta try.
意味ないんじゃないですか。
意味がないかどうかやる前から諦めるなんて負けの発想だぞ。
Let him know.
できる手は全て試すんだ。昨日校長も教えて、どうせダメだと言って諦めた時、戦うシオンは里子を助け出すつもりで短絡的な手段に訴えるのも辞さないと。でもな、 本当に熱い炎って決して諦めるな。俺たちにできる全ての手を尽くすんだ。どうですか先生、俺間違ったことを言ってますか？
いいえ、間違ったことはよく冷静に考えましたね。ひょっとしたら闇討ちしようなんてとんでもない話を言い出さないか。
That's what my mom was
ちょっ
saying.
と不安でした。
Is that how people perceive me? I mean, to be fair, I kind of makes sense why your mom would say that, given that the fact that your mom knows your history and whatnot. Like, you used to attack children in alleyways, dude. Like, of course your mom's gonna be like, Keiichi, you're not thinking of anything drastic, are you? Like, it's one thing to be like offended, like, Chie, is that really how you see me? Oh, my heart. But like your mom, like, come on, of course your mom's gonna be a bit worried, like, Keiichi, don't do anything rash now.
先生も本当は様子見を。でも皆さんの訴えや去年の話をいろいろと思う。人は訴えによって、それは沖宮の相談所とて訴えれば判断が覆ることもあるかもしれない。
どうしーちゃん、一人で膝を抱えて悩むくらいなら
私泣き寝入りなんて
なんだなんだ、ひょっとしてビンゴだな。
いいですよ、行こうじゃないですか。それでも様子見なんて言いやがって。
鼻の骨はまずいが、シオンも一晩頭を冷やして。
私は聡子を救うためにとにかくそうと決まっ。児童相談所の場所は分かってる。実はね、おじさんも知らなかったんだけど、図書館の1階に児童相談所があったんだよね。
Mion grinned and showed us the location on a city guidebook. He was really prepared for this.
受付の時間は夕方。相手はお役人だからね、あくまでも冷静にね。何？私に言ってるんです。私を誰だ？相手を口説くのが目的なら、嘘泣きだろうとこびまくりだろうと私は何だってやりますよ。
しーちゃん、夕方5時なら今から行けば十分間に合うね。
It's past 3 o'clock. We'd make it before they close if we rushed there on our bikes.
でもよ、お約束時間ぴったりになったら追い出されるんじゃね？
入り口は時間その時間に中に入ればいい。お役人と交渉するときは決して値を上げない。お役人は意外にタフだけど、民間と違って向こうから絶対にこれ以上は言っても拉致が開かないなんて思って屈服しちゃダメ。
Yeah.
しっかり全ての言い分を言い終わるまで粘るんだよ。
Yeah.
兄ちゃん、お役所の人に詳しいね。
Ah, don't worry about that.
私を誰だと思ってんの？市長懇親会メンバーにして市政モニター会員、お役所の人と話をすることなんてしょっちゅう。
なあミオ、その雑記の方からいわゆる別のルート。
それはバッチャが絡むから。ばあさんの力を借りる。未だ頭の中はダム戦争、一億一心火の玉ですからね。今でも北条家のことを嫌ってるみたいですし。
聡子の死んだ両親が、俺はミオンのばあさんには会ったこと、いつまでも終わったこと、ぐちぐち。
全くです。この点ではケイちゃんと一致しましたね。
つまり園崎家としては
そういうこと。ごめんね、年寄りは頭が固いから。リカちゃんは猫可愛がりな連中が多いくせ。
今回の件とは、鉄平は積極的に聡子をいじめやがるから、その年寄り連中に畳の上で死にたかったら前原圭一をあまり怒らせるなって伝えとけ。
うん、了解。じゃあ行きません。時間がもったいないです。
よっしゃ、全は急ごうぜ。行こうぜみんな。
リカちゃんはどうする？
Come on, Rika.
一緒に行こう。
Ernest spoke to Rika-chan, who had been avoiding all conversation. She seemed to have given up all hope yesterday. So painful to see her so depressed.
どうせ何をやっても、ほら、無駄かどうかは試さなくちゃわからないもの。
Let her know.
あまたの世界でそれでどうにもならなかったのに、どうして今回はどうにかなると思えるの？
Sometimes I really had no idea what she was saying. All I could tell is that she was being negative about the situation.
リカちゃんは自動なら試そう。リカちゃんにとってなら試そうよ。今ほど聡子ちゃんがどうせ終わる世界の座興ね。
どうしたの？早く行こうよ。リカちゃまが乗り気じゃ。本当に友達。普段あれだけ一緒にいる親友なのに。聡子の
あんたに聡子のことで聡子はあれだ。
あんたなんで私が。
こっちの話いいわ。付き合う。
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. She's gonna be like, fine, I'll come watch you fail. Whatever.
どうせ家に帰ったってふて寝するだけだもん。
なんか気に入ります。つうか私のことバカにしてます？
やめなよし。そしてリカちゃんもやめて。今はさとこちゃんを救うためにみんなで力を合わせよう。みんなの力が合わさればきっと奇跡が起こせる。それには全員の力がいる。
Yeah, everyone.
一
Rika.
人の力が欠けてもダメ。だからリカちゃん、あなたも力を貸して。
Something that Reina said must have given Rika-chan motivation. I could see a slight sparkle in her eyes. Reina had said something interesting. Yeah, she said the word miracle. She said that we can make a miracle happen. It's the same thing I said when this world began. At that time, I said I could make a miracle happen, but I didn't say how. But Reina just clearly stated that.
みんなの力を合わせれば。
Yeah! You know that lesson we keep learning at the end of every story? Yeah! You finally realizing it now?
奇跡ってのはね、
Yeah!
それでも起きなかったら本当にみんなの力を得ていない時だけ。
Yeah!
みんなが本当に力を合わせたら起きない奇跡などない。そうですね。竜宮さんの言う人は助け合うことで何倍にも強くなります。
Yeah!
一人でも多くの力が合わされば必ず。
そうだね。かつてひなみ沢も、でもそれを2000人の人々が結束して。
運命。
Yeah!
私たちひなみ沢の人間はこれほど身近に奇跡をして、みんなで力を合わせれば絶対に打ち勝てる。
right.
そこまで言われたら行くしかないと思いませんか、リカちゃま。これで奇跡が起こらなかったら、リカちゃまが欠けてみんなが揃わなかったから奇跡が起こらなかったことになりま
Yeah!
す。
So it's going to be my fault. That's interesting. A miracle is something that we can make happen. But we need everyone's power to make that come true. Destiny can be defeated. Fate can be escaped from. This can happen with a miracle. A miracle can happen if we unite.
昨日レナも言ったぜ。一人で悩んだってろくなことは思いつかない。全員で力を合わせるんだ。運命に屈するな。そもそも運命なんてな、金魚すくいの網より薄くて簡単に破れるもんだってことを覚えておけよ。
How can he say that without knowing how stubborn fate can be? To me, a witch trapped within fate. For some reason, his words sounded very persuasive. He easily changed my fate to play the fishing game. In my previous life, Keiichi saved Reina from her devastating fate. As fragile as a thin sheet of paper. He's saying that the world I've been struggling in for 100 years is that easy to change. Keiichi had made a fool out of me.
面白い。行くわ。
よし、よく言ったぜ、リカちゃん。
Fuck you, Hanyu. You're nothing but a fucking downer who only makes the fucking situation worse.
リカ、いいので
Fuck
す
you.
か？
The moment Rika gets any form of hope back, she's like, oh, are you sure about that? Fuck you. Hanyu looked at me with concern. She wanted to warn me that I'll get hurt if I expect too much.
どうせかけるコインこれ以上何を負けた。どうせ終わったせでもそれは前の世界もそうだ。
Exactly.
レナが学校を占拠したあれほどの末期的。そのケイイチがこの世界をもう諦めてるからこそ。どうせまた期待を裏切られます。そして辛そうになるリカを見て。大丈夫よ。流せる涙はどうせケイイチたちがだからこそよ。児童相談所に乗り込もうなんて。ケイイチに起こせる奇跡なんて
Fuck you.
何もないのですよ。
Hanyu, you're pissing me off. but you, it's crazy how you're managing to piss me off more than Shion of all people is, alright? Really pissing me off. I like you when you're silly and goofy and whatnot, but the moment like real shit's happening, you're always like, hey, maybe let's not do some real shit. Maybe we just let everything like go to shit. How about we try that? Like, fuck you. Like, yeah, Shion did some fucking hellacious shit in some of the previous worlds, but at least she made an effort to do something. You're just like, hold up, guys. I think we're doing too. It's not gonna matter if we do anything. So like, we shouldn't do anything, guys. Like, let's chill the fuck out. Like, I want to throw you through a fucking window, an open one. Like, I'm not that bad. I don't want you to get hurt by the glass or whatnot. But like, I want to throw you through a window. You seem very throwable. Hanyu spoke to me in a stern voice. I'll speak back even sterner. Even more stern? Sterner? More stern? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Miracles are called miracles because they don't happen easily. Exactly. Gotta put in the effort. You gotta work for it. The universe isn't gonna hand one to you on a platter. If it can happen at any time, it's not a miracle. It's not just something that was meant to be, exactly.
期待なんかしでも運命をあっさり破ると豪語した圭一がリカ
Fuck you. You haven't even said anything yet, but I'm already pissed at you.
どうか自分の心をこれ以上追い詰めないように
Throwing you out the window.
なのです余計なお世話
Yeah! Let her know!
消えなさい
Yeah! Talk to her! I wasn't expecting anything. I was just trying to enjoy my last week alive like watching a TV show. I had to admit I was possessed by a strange feeling. It was a little bit exhilarating. I was nervous, as if anticipating something. I'd felt the same way when Keiichi remembered the memories from the past in my previous life. I didn't have any coins left to make a bet, but I knew what this feeling meant. If I had a coin left in my heart, I would bet everything on this feeling.
すべての手を尽くしてダメならば
諦める必要なんかねえぞ。絶対にサトコは救い。リカちゃんはちゃんとサトコの布団、サトコが近いうちにも、その時ふかふかの布団が敷けなかったらかわいそうだぞ。
気に入ったわ。行きましょう。あんたなら地獄の閻魔の最低だって。
ああ、今の俺を地獄の閻魔だって食い止められると思う。絶対に児童相談所に様子見なんて判断を撤回させてやる。
I stood up from my seat. Keiichi is a very good speaker. That's why I never get bored with him. I've been with him for 100 years, but he still keeps me entertained.
じゃあ先生も来ますか。
私は教育児童相談所も教育委員会も役所は案外一応先生も地方公務員ですからね。
Yeah, see, now we got Chie all motivated.
確かにそう。役所の人は外部には冷たくても、じゃあ先生には先生の角度から真正面からの攻撃を。よし、行こうみんな。
おう。
I'm just loving the soundtrack, quite honestly. What are that, bongos we got going on in the background? Oh no, it's fading out because the song's over. God damn it. Even knowing that everything is doomed, part of me felt like something good might happen. Hanyu told me that was only a waste of time. Hanyu can go fuck herself. I felt the same way until a few moments ago. But I had become much more interested. Oh yeah, oh yeah. How can we lose hope? We got bongos. I had no idea what would happen. I wanted to see how Keiichi was planning to defeat this destiny. I raised my fist in the air along with them and hurried to the exit. As for Satoko, she didn't come to school again today. Teppei called the school and told them that she still has a fever. He said that he's going to keep her home for a few days until she gets better. Jay said that she thinks Teppei knows she called the child consultation center. He must be worried that Satoko will rat him out if he lets her go to school. I don't want to think about it, but it's possible that Satoko has visible bruises by now. That could also be why he won't let her go to school. Everything was happening much earlier. Satoko's situation was worsening earlier than it did in my previous lives. No, we have the power of friendship and bongos, baby. We got this. It's in the bag. No, hey, bring that back. Hey, can... excuse me.
と意気込んできたのはいいものの、
Excuse me,
待たされるな。
Bongos, please? No? Okay. Well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap this one up here for today, but yeah, no, this is the moment I've been waiting for. This is the moment I've been waiting for. See, this thing, I kind of predicted this the way the story was gonna go, right? All these good things were happening to Rika. I didn't quite expect this specific turn, but I knew like something had to happen that was gonna like throw a wrench in everything. There was gonna have to be some conflict created, right? And obviously this is probably the best way they could do it. Makes Rika feel entirely hopeless because like the person she cared the most about is the one who's, you know, stuck in this. But it also like I said, the I hate to just say the cinema of it. It's not like just a fucking brain rotted dipshit, but like the cinema of it. The fact that for Satoko to overcome, you know, what she needs to overcome, Rika needs to be able to overcome what she has to overcome, and they have to do it and essentially they have to overcome their challenges together to be able to reach this happy ending that they both want so much. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's not even to mention like what the fuck Watanagashi has in store for us, right? Because we still have several days until Watanagashi comes around. And maybe that's the point. If this is truly the world where we get the happy ending, right? Where Rika finally breaks the cycle, then maybe that is the ending right there. Is Watanagashi is just a festival. We all celebrate. We have a good time. Akasaka will be there, for fuck's sake. The guy who never shows up in any of these fucking stories other than chapter 4 where he was introduced, right? Or sometimes at the not the prologue, the epilogues. Like, now Akasaka's here, so now it's like, oh yeah, we're having this big celebration. We're all friends. Shion's here. Satoko's here. Reina. Yo, the whole gang. Mion. Fucking Akasaka's a part of it. Yo, Keiichi's made it's kind of like got it, like Oishi will be there, right? And if nothing goes wrong, it's just Oishi. He's just there. Takano, Tomatake, we've talked to them, we spoke to them, we've given them the heads up. Like, it has potential. It has potential to come around to a happy ending. I'm very curious to see what that leads to, though. Very curious. I'm very curious to see what more we get out of Takano and Tomatake's side of things. That's what I'm really curious about. That's kind of like the one thing, like, in the back of my mind I'm very curious about to see what happens. Because obviously that's, like, been, like, the main mystery the whole time, right? But maybe we won't truly know that until the final chapter. Maybe that question's still going to remain until the final chapter comes around. But regardless, can't wait for it. But I do have to wrap this one up here for today. So thank you to anyone watching. It's all much appreciated. And hopefully I'll see y'all in the next one. Till then, peace.